Hi, I'm Brock. What you're about to watch I made because I had never seen a character in fiction face off with the devil in the way that I would as a Christian. It was inspired by the dark times in my life, like the death of my father and when my daughter was born and we discovered she had special needs. We didn't know what we were going to do, but we knew to have hope. This is the kind of movie that's never been made before, and I've got the team to do it. People like Dallas Jenkins, the creator of The Chosen, and my friend Brandon Jones, who did the sound design for A Quiet Place. We believe that by making media like this, we can encourage people in their struggle to reject the dark and seek the light. Stick around afterwards to find out how you can join us. Thank you for your interest as a potential partner. Releasing a script in this way before the movie is made is unusual. I trust you will honor my faith in you by sharing the power of what you're about to experience, but not the spoilers. A note about this audio version. This is a reading of the full script and serves as only an impression of what the feature film will be. While you will hear some very good performances, they have been tuned for the listening experience and represent these actors' interpretations of the characters only, and not necessarily what the characters will sound or feel like in the finished film. If you believe this needs to be a film that potentially millions can enjoy, I hope you'll partner with me, Orlando J. Gomez, Dallas Jenkins, and the rest of the team by investing today at angelstudios.com/theshift. Thanks. Brock. The Shift. Feature Film. Draft 9. Written by Brock Heasley. Performed by Brock Heasley, Miranda Cameron, and Danny Cameron. Exterior, Bass Lake. Shore, day. Gentle waves lap onto the mountain lake shore. A fully clothed man emerges from the water and pulls himself onto dry land. As he stands, a mixture of water and blood trickles from his right hand. He looks around, not sure where to go or what to do. A light breeze pushes through the pine trees in the distance. Exterior, Bass Lake, road, day. The man, now mostly dry, walks the mountain road toward the nearest town. Below our field of view, he hits his injured arm over and over again, wincing each time. A car whizzes by. As it leaves, it reveals the man is gone. Disappeared. Cut to black. Title on black. The Shift. Interior, business office, day. A man stands triumphantly on top of a mountain, his arms outstretched in celebration as the sun's rays highlight him. We slowly pull out to reveal the man on the mountaintop is an image on a motivational poster reading Ambition. It hangs next to a water cooler in a spacious office. A silently weeping, well-dressed businesswoman walks up to the cabinet beneath the poster to brace herself. We continue to the glass-walled office of Kevin Garner, a 30-year-old hedge fund bro who eats filet mignon like it's a basic food group and tips his barber with investment advice he'd never follow in a million years. This is the man we saw pull himself out of the lake. He's on the phone.
Telling you, if there's one safe bet, it's housing. Mortgages. Everyone's got a mortgage, right, Glenn? Okay, that's right. Your money could be doing so much more. So much more. Yeah? Yeah? Awesome.
Kevin leans over to the chart labeled, "The money I make, the suckers I take." He pencils in another in a long line of hashed notches, with a twinge of guilt.
You're making a wise decision, my friend.
The businesswoman walks by Kevin's cubicle. Her sobs catch his attention.
Glenn, I'm going to have to call you back.
Kevin hangs up. He follows the walking businesswoman to see her absorbed into the distraught investment capitalists and money managers littering the office, not answering their ringing phones. Exterior, Madison Avenue, day. Kevin exits the building with his cardboard box of things in hand. Taxi horns blare. He ambles away from the building in numb bewilderment. Rushing past him with their own boxes in hand are women and grown men, professionals, with wet faces. Kevin, haunted, stops to survey the scene. A fellow hedge fund bro sidles up alongside him.
You believe this?
Kevin looks down into his box. Among other things we see, his framed degree from Columbia Business School, a laptop, a pad of paper he never used, and, most significantly, an award for Investor of the Year.
Shut down. And for what? Giving people a chance at the American dream? What we sold, they couldn't afford. You mean a place to live? A home? You do realize we're the bad guys, right? Eh, maybe I'll give old Chuck at Lehman a thrill and take him up on that dinner. What about you? What are you going to do?
Kevin leaves Hedge Fund Bro and walks with purpose to the trash can at the edge of the city sidewalk. He dumps the entire box and its contents almost without thinking, then keeps walking. Hedge Fund Bro calls after him.
Hey, Kevin! What are you going to do?
Interior, hotel bar, night. A glass is filled with beer on tap. It slides over to Kevin, sitting at the bar. He is withdrawn into himself, ignoring the drink in favor of a gold sobriety coin he spins and fiddles with his fingers. The bartender gives Kevin a sideways glance and shakes his head. The TV above the bar plays the news of the just-begun housing crisis. Kevin is startled by a burst of laughter from a group of girlfriends at a table behind him. The sobriety coin drops and rolls away, disappearing over the edge of the bar. The glass of beer stares at Kevin. He tries to resist, but it's no use. Why shouldn't he drink? Today, he needs it. He grabs the glass and brings it to his lips.
Well, there's the saddest, most pathetic man I've ever seen.
Kevin, stopped cold, turns and looks to see the most self-possessed, beautiful woman he's ever laid eyes on. We will come to know her as Molly, 27 to 30 years old.
I'm sorry, what?
You just look so sad, sitting here like this.
This is a hotel bar and I'm alone. How am I supposed to look?
No, it's fine. I happen to like sad men.
Oh, really? Well, now that's pathetic.
Your flirting game leaves a lot to be desired, my friend.
Kevin smiles. She's funny.
You came up to me.
Only because they dared me to.
Molly glances back at the group of girlfriends at the table. They're trying to contain their laughter and failing miserably. One of them snaps a pic with her phone. Kevin realizes he's still holding his drink and puts it down. He's intrigued.
What's the dare?
To talk to you. Find out what your deal is so you become interested and ask me out. They say I'm overcommitted.
To what?
Work. I'm finishing up my PhD in psychology. Watch out. I read people pretty well.
What's your read on me? Besides the sad thing.
Not sure yet. It's actually quite the dangerous dare now that I think about it.
How so?
You could be a serial killer, trapping women with your lonely, tortured soul routine.
That's a leap.
And are you like a bad serial killer or a heroic one?
There are heroic serial killers?
Of course there are. Think about it. What do serial killers do, really? They give in to all their black thoughts until they commit horrible, horrible crimes. We're all capable of that, right?
Sure. There's a part of me that wants to kick puppies, like, all the time.
Molly smiles a crooked, wide smile. This guy is as weird as she is, and it's wonderful.
So what if there are people out there who have these dark impulses constantly and they have to choose to fight them every day?
Sure. Some do and some don't.
The ones that don't, serial killers. But the ones that do,
Well, they'd be heroes. They'd have to be.
but no one would ever know.
Nope. They'd be suffering silently, for our sakes.
Molly taps the bar, her point made.
Heroic serial killers.
Huh. You may have a point.
So,
So what? Am I a serial killer?
yeah, what's your deal?
See that?
Kevin points up at the TV news reporting on the firing of all Bear Stearns employees today.
That's me.
Ouch. Fair though, right? You hedge fund types, gotta admit you have it coming.
Yeah.
Molly is about to say something to back off the nerve she clearly struck, but Kevin shakes it off before she can.
Buy you a drink?
I don't drink. Sharon, though, she's a lush.
Molly waves back to her friends. They give her a confused look that says she's been talking to the sad man for way too long, but one of them, definitely Sharon, raises her cocktail in drunk acknowledgement.
Pass.
I just don't know if I'm ready for this.
Kevin.
Kevin? Molly. Hi.
The way Molly says Kevin's name is the sound of someone settling into the warmest, fuzziest sweater made just for them. It's at this moment he knows he's completely smitten.
Where is this going, Kevin? Are we up for this? I didn't come over here honestly expecting a date, but I feel like that's where this is headed.
Maybe. I do find you attractive, oddly enough.
Backhanded, but fair. So the idea is we go out, we have fun together, and then what? Maybe we kiss?
Exterior and interior, restaurant, night. Flash forward. We begin to see quick flashes forward, beginning with glimpses of Kevin and Molly entering a restaurant, laughing, and eating together. Then another quick flash to just outside the restaurant, where they share a kiss under lamplight. Interior, hotel bar, night.
Hopefully.
Sure, I can get behind that. Okay, so, 5th date.
Exterior, farmer's market, day. Flash forward. Quick flashes. Kevin and Molly walk the farmer's market, arm in arm, baskets of fruit in hand. She feeds him a grape. Interior, hotel bar, night.
Whoa, 5th date?
Yes, try to keep up. After the 5th date.
Exterior, graduation ceremony, day. Flash forward. Quick flashes. Molly, dressed in her cap and gown with PhD in hand, takes a selfie while Kevin kisses her.
We're starting to be a part of each other's lives. Now it's a real thing.
Interior, house, living room, day. Flash forward. Quick flash. Molly on the couch, right in the middle of Kevin and his friends. She jumps up and rubs her video game win in the face of Kevin's loser friend next to her.
You're introducing me to your friends.
Interior, grocery store. Flash forward. Quick flash. Kevin and Molly getting cozy in the pasta aisle as Kevin reaches for something on the shelf behind her.
We're shopping together for dinner in.
Exterior, Cross City Church parking lot, day. Flash forward. The flashes settle down a little as Kevin emerges from the car dressed in his Sunday best. He looks at the church skeptically as Molly walks over to him. Is she sure about this?
And I'm taking you to my church. But, do you even like church? Do you even go?
Molly drags Kevin to the church by his tie. Interior, Cross City Church Worship Center. Flash forward. Flashes. Kevin and Molly sing along with the congregation. Interior, Cross City Church, baptismal font. Flash forward. Flashes. Kevin is baptized, coming up out of the water with a beatific smile as Molly proudly looks on.
I guess I do now.
Interior, hotel bar, night.
You're so sweet. Gross.
Interior, restaurant, night. Flash forward. Flashes. At the restaurant of their first date, Kevin slips an engagement ring on Molly's finger as the patrons applaud.
And because you are so sweet, you do something crazy to show your love. And I'm crying.
Exterior, church, day. Flash forward. Flashes. Molly and Kevin, the bride and groom, rush out of the church to a chorus of cheers.
And my friends are happy for me. And we, the two of us, we're just the best.
Interior, hotel bar, night. Kevin leans back in his chair.
This all sounds like a huge commitment.
Interior, Garner home, living room, sunset. Flash forward. Flashes. Kevin presses his ear up to Molly's pregnant belly, the sun through the window casting them in a heavenly light.
The biggest. Does that scare you?
Interior, hospital delivery room. Flash forward. Flashes. Kevin does his best to comfort a sweating Molly in immense pain as she pushes hard to deliver their baby.
Yes.
Me too.
Exterior, Garner home, dining room, day. Flash forward. Flashes. Kevin and Molly's little boy, now a toddler, eats in his high chair and flings food onto Molly's face. Kevin laughs. Molly retaliates by flinging food at her husband.
This is what I've been trying to tell my friends. Having another person in your life is just so much. And I have enough going on right now.
Interior, hotel bar, night.
And then there's the bad thing that happens.
What bad thing?
Interior, grocery store. Flash forward. The flash is slow. Kevin and Molly talk to friends in the dairy section. They don't notice as their little boy wanders off and disappears down an aisle.
I have no idea.
Molly's sixth sense kicks in. She turns to see their boy is missing. She pulls on Kevin. Frantically, they search aisle after aisle. He's gone.
But it will happen. Life will happen, and we will be tested. It's inevitable. And when two people come together...
Interior, Garner home, foyer, day. Flash forward. Slow flashes. The front door to the house opens to reveal two police officers with terrible news. Their little boy is never coming home. Molly collapses into Kevin's arms and sobs.
It just means they have that much more to lose.
Exactly.
Interior, Garner home, living room, night. Flash forward. Slow flashes. Molly sits on the couch cradling a cup of tea. She looks absent from herself, like her light has gone out. Behind her, Kevin arrives home. She doesn't notice.
Can we weather a storm together, Kevin? Are we capable of that?
Kevin slowly approaches Molly, sits down next to her, and reveals a jewelry box from his pants pocket.
Oh, sure. I'm fabulous and you're sweet, so I'll try to be there for you. And you'll do your best to comfort me.
The box opens to reveal a pendant with a unique infinity-type symbol, with one end of the symbol open and the other closed. Kevin removes the pendant from the box.
But what if we can't be that for each other? What if this bad thing that's going to happen...
Score only. Kevin turns the pendant over to reveal the words, "He lives," engraved on the back. Molly shakes her head. No, 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 no. Hands the pendant back to Kevin and gets up to flee the room. Kevin, frustrated, calls out in anger after her. He keeps trying to help her, but she refuses to be comforted. Molly rounds back on Kevin. With tears in her eyes, she pleads with him to be a human being and grieve with her for 5 minutes. Kevin, in pain in a way he's barely in touch with, shouts back at his wife that it's been months and she needs to move on. In anger, Molly shoves out her hand and tells Kevin to just give her the pendant then. If he thinks it will make it all better and it will make him happy, then just give it to her. Kevin refuses. He's trying to make her happy. Molly keeps insisting, screaming, shouting, "Give it to me!" Kevin finally explodes, throws the pendant at his wife, and storms out of the house, slamming the door behind him. Molly is alone. She shakes violently with overwhelming grief.
What if the bad thing tears us apart?
Interior, hotel bar, night.
Now does that sound like something either one of us wants to endure?
If you had asked me that a few hours ago, I'd have told you no. But the worst thing, literally the worst thing that's ever happened to me just happened. I lost my job. Now I'm here with you, and it doesn't seem so bad anymore.
Beat. Molly is visibly struck by Kevin's vulnerability.
See, Kevin, here's the thing. I'm really busy. I don't have time for all that, especially with a sad-fired hedge fund bro. So, while I appreciate you being a good listener and all, I think you can see this is a bad idea.
Okay. So, buy you a drink?
I told you, I don't drink.
Kevin pushes his beer away.
Yeah, me neither. There's this new tea place nearby. It's pretty non-committal and chill. Do you drink tea?
Molly smiles, gives in.
I would love some tea.
Interior, Garner home, kitchen, morning. A tea kettle whistles. Hands pour the fresh brew into a mug. Wide out to reveal Molly pouring the tea. She stands in her bathrobe with her back to Kevin, who returns milk to the fridge. He's dressed in a gray shirt and tie, with a collar he doesn't realize is cockeyed. They say nothing. We follow Kevin as he moves to the kitchen counter to retrieve the cereal box to put it away in the pantry. In the pantry is a trash can, where Molly dumps sugar packets. The couple dances awkwardly around one another so as to avoid any contact or acknowledgement. Molly moves back to the stove, and Kevin back to the counter. He grabs his bowl of cereal and takes it to the dining room table, where his iPad is already waiting. Kevin sits, begins to eat. All we hear are the tension-filled sounds of birds singing outside, Kevin slurping, and the clinking of Molly's spoon as she stirs sugar into her tea. Molly grabs a nearby TV remote and flicks on the off-screen television. The sound of morning TV news invades the quiet, visibly irritating Kevin. Kevin puts down his spoon, loudly. His polite manner belies his irritation.
Molly, do you mind turning that off?
Did you pay the bills last night?
The news grows subtly louder and louder.
You're not even watching it. It's just noise.
The mortgage, Kevin. You said you'd take care of it.
Did I? Oh, if you're so concerned, then you pay it.
You said you would.
Molly moves over to Kevin and roughly flips down the back of his shirt collar.
No, you say I said I would. I'm telling you, I never said that.
Awesome.
The news just keeps getting louder.
I'm not just going to agree with you because it makes it easier.
That's great, Kevin. Way to take a stand. I'll call the bank and tell them you're too principled to...
The volume level of the news reaches an irritating peak.
Just turn it off!
The news volume level returns immediately to normal. Molly walks out of the room without another word. Beat. Regret washes over Kevin. Angry at himself, he throws his spoon against the wall. Before it connects, match cut to interior, office, Kevin's cubicle, day. Keys land on a messy desk, then a smartphone. A mouse click later, and we focus in on a glazed Kevin, typing at his computer in a drab gray office where dreamers go to die. Brendan, Kevin's younger prick of a supervisor and human diagram of uncool, slams a set of folders down behind Kevin.
Where were you? Brandon, where was I when? The safety training meeting. This morning. Early morning meeting. There a memo on that? There were two. It was an important meeting, and there were donuts.
Kevin, rubbing his eyes, turns to face Brendan.
Okay. I missed donuts? My office, now.
Brendan walks off. Kevin sighs and gets out of his chair. Interior, office. Brendan's office. Day. Brendan sits down behind his well-organized desk.
Close the door.
Kevin shuts the door, then stays standing.
Dude, you can talk to me. You know that, Kevin, right? Sure, Brandon. I know. You're thinking, look, that Brandon guy, he's been here just a year and he's in my chair. Am I right?
Kevin just stares.
Well, I wouldn't be here if I didn't deserve it, just like you deserve where you are. But that doesn't mean we can't be buddies. That doesn't mean...
Kevin picks at the Newton's cradle on Brendan's desk, interrupting Brendan's flow. Brendan, now with no chill, jumps out of his chair to stop them. He leans over his desk to get in Kevin's face.
Hey, I try to maintain an atmosphere of excellence and cool here, obviously, but I'm tired of your crap. Look, if it's not the morning meeting, then it's the weekly reports, or the residual spreadsheets, or... Honestly, I don't remember any memos. Exactly. That's exactly my point. You don't remember. You know what? Just take the rest of the day off.
Interior, parking garage, day. Kevin opens the door to his car and gets in. Brendan's words ring in his mind as he hangs his head. He has fallen so far.
Tomorrow morning, bright and early, let's you and I discuss your future.
Exterior, city street, day. Kevin drives the mostly empty streets. He calls Molly via the phone in his lap.
Hi, honey.
Where are you?
On my way home. Look,
It's
about this
early.
morning, I'm sorry.
What's wrong? Thank you, it's fine. I'm used to it. What's wrong?
What's that supposed to mean?
What?
What are you used to?
I'm not home. Not sure when I'll be back.
Half beat as Kevin winces. They just keep drifting apart.
Did you pay the bills yet?
What do you think? I was at work, and now I'm in the cop.
A truck, from out of nowhere, slams into Kevin's car. Cut to black. Exterior, city streets, day, later. Fade in on Kevin's POV as he opens his eyes to see a helpful man kneeling over him, yelling. All Kevin can hear is a high-pitched ringing after being knocked senseless. He looks to the right, fading in and out of consciousness. He can just make out people screaming. A car on fire. He looks back up to the man. Everything fades to black. Exterior, alleyway, late afternoon. Several pats on the face wake Kevin up. He's propped up, seated against a wall, the helpful man leaning over him.
Hey. Hey there. You okay? No. I'm not sure. Here, drink. Drink this.
The man, impeccably dressed with a handsome face that exudes kindness, shoves a water bottle into Kevin's mouth. He drinks deeply.
You have a nasty gash on your head, right?
The man touches the wound, gingerly. Kevin winces.
Right there. I had a kit, so I bandaged it up. You seem okay otherwise. Thank you. You're welcome.
Kevin extends his hand.
Kevin Garner.
The man takes it, and they shake.
Satan. Pleased to finally meet you. I'm sorry. My head is still spinning. What did you say? Satan. My name is Satan. As in the devil? Yes. Is that supposed to be a joke? No, not at all. Look at you. I wouldn't joke at a time like this. Okay, got it. Okay. Look, I gotta go, man. I appreciate your help.
Kevin tries to stand up, but comes right back down again. Satan catches him by the arm.
Whoa. Look, I appreciate you helping me. I really do, but if you don't mind, just...
Kevin begins to fade from what is clearly a concussion.
Hey. Stay awake. Stay awake. Keep talking to me.
Before Kevin completely passes out, Satan rears back and slaps him hard across the face with a loud crack.
What the hell, man? Keep talking. It's going to help you stay awake. Ow. We need to talk business, okay? Business? Business? What business? I want to offer you a job. I have a job. Not for long. Okay. Hey, Satan? Look, if you just help me to my car. Of course.
Satan supports Kevin and lifts him off the ground to help him move back towards the street. Exterior, street, late afternoon. Kevin and Satan emerge from the alleyway to see nothing. The street is empty. There's no sign of any accident at all. No people, nothing.
Where's my car? Where's the accident? What happened? Nothing happened. There's no accident here. What do you mean there was no accident? How long was I out back there? Just a little while. Check your phone.
Satan stares. Kevin pulls out his phone and takes a look.
What day is it? What does your phone say? You could have messed with my phone while I was out in December 14th, same as before your accident. You just said there was no accident. No, I said there was no accident here.
Kevin has got to get away from this guy. He walks across the street, dialing his phone. Satan follows at his own pace.
I'm calling my wife to come pick me up. That's not going to work. Then I'm calling the police. They won't help you.
Kevin rounds back on Satan.
Man, who are you? Do you have any ID? ID? Seriously? What's so funny? We've just never had to prove it this far. We? Who's we? Me and you, Kevin. This isn't the first time we've done all this. You are certifiable. I have never met you. Oh, no, of course you haven't.
In a rage, Kevin rushes Satan, throws him up against a wall, and grabs him by the lapels.
You tell me, where's my car, and where did everybody go? They didn't go anywhere, Kevin. You did.
Beat as Kevin tries to process what that even means. Satan takes Kevin by the shoulder to reassure him like a gentle father would his misbehaving son.
Are you sure you are where you think you are?
Kevin turns around to see the peaceful city as we spin around him. He's not sure where he is at all anymore. Satan claps Kevin on the shoulder.
I'm hungry. Let's go get some dinner. I'm buying.
Interior, diner, night. We slowly creep along the floor to the entrance. There's murmuring and the odd scrape of a fork against a plate. On the margins of the frame, we see patrons settling in, like actors falling back to first positions. Tina, a waitress, runs through frame, doing a last-second menu handoff to a patron, Mark, seated in the waiting area. The door opens with a ring of the bell. Satan and Kevin enter. All activity stops. The frightened diner owner whispers something frantic into Tina's ear. Kevin looks around. This is weird. Satan spots Mark and immediately goes towards him, shaking his hand.
Mark, hey, how's little Josh doing? That work out for him? Just like I said, right?
Mark nods, nothing but fear on his face.
Kevin, what do you know about me? Nothing. I don't know who you are. Sure you do.
Tina, looking like she wants to throw up, approaches the two men with caution, menus in hand.
2?
Yes, Tina. Thank you.
Right this way.
Tina leads Satan and Kevin to a table. The skittish patrons stare as they walk by. One of them takes Satan's coat.
Kevin, who am I? Fine. You're Satan. Is that what you want to hear? And what do you know about me?
Satan and Kevin sit down at the small table in the center of the diner. Satan makes a show of looking at the menu, but he already knows what he wants. Tina pulls a notepad from her apron.
What can I get for you?
Steak and eggs for me. A glass of milk, tall. Kevin? I'll, just have a water. You sure? It's my treat. Water's fine. Kevin will have a beer.
Okay.
Tina, trembling, walks away with the order. Fear washes over Kevin's face. Satan knows him. He waits for the answer to his question, and Kevin finally gives in.
You're a fiend, a crook, a liar, and your goal is misery. Wow. Straight out of Sunday school. You're religious then? Yes, well, sort of. I mean, I used to be.
For the first time, Satan looks rattled.
That's different. Wouldn't you like to know how I do it all? Do what? Cause all this misery you're accusing me of. I prefer the term chaos. You tempt people. Yes, but how? Let's talk about your marriage. What about my marriage? Molly is cheating on you. Has been for a while. Hey, wait, what? What did you say? You and your wife haven't had a conversation in, 3 years? Like, what did you think was going to happen? Number one cause of a broken marriage. Can you guess?
Kevin, unmoving.
Lack of communication. Misunderstanding. Misunderstandings are the reason for so much conflict in the world. Wars are fought over them. Entire lucrative professions are built around fixing them. And when communication breaks down, chaos.
Tina returns with the food and places it on the table.
Excellent. So prompt.
Steak and eggs with a tall glass of milk and 1 beer. Can I get you anything else?
Tina's eyes grow wet with fear. Satan cuts his steak, takes a bite, relishes it.
This is incredible. Tina, my compliments to your mother. She just keeps outdoing herself.
I'll let her know.
Tina begins to walk away, but Satan isn't ready to let her go.
Look, there's so much food. Stay. Join us.
No,
In a flash of anger, Satan raises his knife and stabs it in the air towards Tina.
Stay.
He waves her over impatiently. As she takes her seat next to him, Kevin watches in bewilderment. Satan cuts off another piece of meat and brings it to Tina's mouth.
Eat.
Tina eats the steak through sobs.
It's good, right?
Tina nods as she chews. Kevin is horrified. Satan continues eating.
This morning, you and your wife had a fight about paying the bills. Did you promise to pay the bills? I don't think so. Two people see the same car accident, but their accounts differ wildly. Why? We each see according to our own perspective or bias. Wrong. They both see different accidents. Each one of them sees a different accident. Both are telling the truth, and they'll never agree. What? There is no fiction.
Kevin looks even more confused.
For every choice you make, there are countless other realities where you make a different choice. And that's true for every single decision made by every person who's ever lived. Choice breeds infinite possibilities. Choice breeds realities. There's not a thing you can imagine that doesn't already exist. Somewhere, somewhen, there is no fiction. Parallel Earths. So good. So good when he gets it. I love this moment. And you? Imagine the power to move people from one reality to the next, to swap a person out with their doppelganger from another Earth, to shift them. That's what I do.
The light of understanding enters Kevin's eyes.
I never talked to Molly about paying the bills. No, you didn't. I shifted her. Replaced her with a version of your wife whose husband did, in fact, promise to pay the bills. But why? Just one tiny difference and disagreement. Confusion, tension, chaos. My wife. Shifted. First time was after you gave her that pendant. And not a fan of that symbol, by the way. I thought she threw it away. No. This is how the world works, Kevin.
Kevin explodes.
Prove it! I want to see it. I don't believe you. Shift something.
Satan takes another bite.
What would you like me to shift, Kevin?
Our perspective shifts as we move across the back of Kevin's shoulders to the other side of him, revealing Tina. Kevin points at her.
I don't care. Shift her.
Tina collapses into despair.
Sure.
Satan puts down his fork and wipes his mouth. He pulls back his jacket sleeve to reveal a high-tech bracelet-like device on his wrist called a deviator. The diner owner and his wife, the cook, look on with pained expressions. Tina looks to them, sobbing. Satan twists the device and pushes some buttons after making an adjustment. Tina disappears instantly. Satan looks extremely self-satisfied. Kevin can barely process any of what's just happened.
Where did she go? Somewhere else. I would have swapped her with another Tina, but you wouldn't have noticed. She's on a world where her parents never met and fell in love, where there is no Tina. Small deviations are usually best, but that's a big shift. Big shifts take people out of the game and into psych wards. It makes me sad. I didn't mean to. No, don't get broken up about it. They got lots of daughters.
The diner owner's wife sobs into her husband's apron.
Well, they're used to. Maybe it's time I find a new cafe. What do you want from me? I can't do all this by myself. It's a big job. A big job. On every world, I set up my power players, and they do my work. What kind of work is that? Oh, you know, lie, cheat, steal, murder, the fun stuff. I've never hurt anybody my whole life. No, but you have such potential. You're a halfway decent guy. It's the other half I'm particularly fond of. It takes over in the end. No, that's not. You don't know. I do know. You will accept this offer. You're already out there, Kevin, doing my work. And you're rewarded for it. You're a captain of industry. You're a Hollywood producer. You're a king. I can give you all of that. Everything you've ever wanted. I have 1,000 different versions of you on 1,000 different worlds doing my work. They're not hampered by an unfaithful spouse or an idiot supervisor on a power trip. Let me lift you out of this embarrassing farce you call a life and into something glorious.
Kevin considers. It's a tempting offer.
You can do that?
Satan smiles. He's got him.
Swear allegiance to me, and I will. It would honestly be my pleasure. Just say the word.
Kevin believes now, and it would be so easy, so simple. Without thinking, he picks up the beer in front of him. brings it to his lips, and takes a sip. Gulps down hard. Suddenly, Kevin realizes what he's doing and shakes himself out of it. He puts the beer down.
No. It's not who I am. I'm not like that. I wouldn't even know how to be like that. Look at what you've already done today. That poor waitress. I didn't know. Poor Tina. That's one life destroyed. And wasn't it easy? Just say the word. You're already on the path. Might as well keep going. Let me give you everything you've ever wanted.
Kevin looks at Satan intently.
Just say the word.
Satan waits for the response he's expected all along with total confidence. Kevin considers carefully, weighing his options before finally, slowly, folding his hands. He gives Satan one last look before closing his eyes.
Father in heaven.
As Kevin prays, Satan derides, his volume overpowering the humble prayer.
I know it's been way too long since you last heard from me.
Praying?
And I'm sorry,
Really?
but I'm in real
This
trouble
is amazing.
here.
Please,
I'm
please, I
confronted
love
by
it.
darkness, and I'm
You honestly
too
think
small.
God will
Please.
help you after what you've
Please,
done?
please help
Seriously?
me.
You're damaged goods. You're not even worth his effort anymore.
Kevin prays faster and harder as Satan grows increasingly frustrated. The diner swells with his rage, the very air around him screaming with power and protest.
I'm not worthy of your
And
blessing,
even if he
but
does
I
help
know
you,
love
do
your
you think
children.
I will ever
have
leave you
faith in that
alone,
much,
ever?
At least.
You can't put
can't
me
do this
off.
myself.
I am
can't
relentless.
do it.
I am at your
Please.
heels.
Turn
I
that
know you,
face
Kevin.
toward me, and
You
in
are
my
nothing.
unworthiness, save
Nothing.
me, that I may
And I am
become
greater
worthy
than
tomorrow.
God, and I am
In
most
the
certainly
name
greater than
of
you.
Jesus Christ, amen.
Close up on Kevin's mouth as he finishes his prayer. All is suddenly quiet. Kevin opens his eyes and looks around. Satan is simply gone, vanished. All that remains is a half-eaten plate of food and a tall glass of milk. The patrons in the diner look around, bewildered. After a long moment in which he's not sure what to do, Kevin gets up from his seat. With everyone's eyes fixed on him, he walks back towards the counter at the front of the diner. There, still holding each other, are Tina's distraught parents.
I'm so sorry.
The older couple can scarcely believe what's happening. Kevin turns around and heads back for the diner entrance, hesitating just for a second to look at the table where he last saw Satan to consider his words to him. Then, silently, Kevin exits through the door. Exterior, city street, night. Outside of the diner, Kevin is greeted by the night. He looks left and right for some idea of what to do or where to go. All is quiet. No traffic. Across the street, Kevin spies frightened groups of people behind police barricades. They're grimier than the patrons from the diner. Keeping them from crossing the barrier are lancers, police outfitted in face-obscuring white helmets, black riot gear with pistols, and long telescoping batons. One of them paces the street atop a horse, rifle in hand. Kevin senses something. He turns to see, down the same sidewalk on which he stands, 3 lancers advancing in his direction with their batons out. Instinctively, Kevin begins to back away, keeping his eyes on the ever-nearing lancers. He again looks around for some help or some clue as to what is going on, but finds nothing. He picks up the pace, and the lancers just keep coming. In a quick move that can only be a threat, they jerk their batons downward to extend them and grab at their handguns. His heart pounding, Kevin frantically looks for some place to hide. He finds a dark alleyway, ducks into it, and we cut to black. Interior, motel room, morning. An alarm clock on a nightstand rings out. A sleepy hand slaps it off. We follow the hand down to the nightstand drawer to open it. Nothing inside. Kevin, disappointed and weary, flops back onto the bed and tries to wipe the sleep from his eyes. Cut to. Still in his boxers, Kevin gets into a kneel at his bedside, coughing terribly. He prays, but it's muffled, private. The motel room is stark and bare, with peeling wallpaper imported directly from 4 or 5 decades ago. Mold grows in every corner. A small table with a typewriter, a dresser with a TV on top, and cans of baked beans, some opened, some not, decorate the place. Cut to Kevin pulls out a chair at the small table, sets down a can of beans, opens them, and sits. He loads a fresh piece of paper into the typewriter. Still wiping the sleep from his eyes, he begins typing in between bites of the beans with a rusty old fork. We see a stack of completed papers next to the typewriter, and some tall manila envelopes. On the typewriter, his servant would be faithful. His typing done for the day, Kevin rips the page out. Cut to Kevin flips on the TV. Cut to Kevin turns on the water in the shower, letting it cascade warm relief down his head and shoulders. His naked torso is covered in strange wounds. As he bathes, he coughs even harder, drowning out the TV news. The bathroom steams up, pushing a fog through the open door and into the motel room proper. On the TV, two news anchors, Brett, an older, well-dressed man, and Barbara, a real-life Barbie doll, spit out state-approved propaganda.
Today marks 5 years since the unlawful prayer at the Corbin family diner.
On screen, the Corbin diner exterior, boarded up and vacant. Then, CCTV footage of Satan's job interview with Kevin.
The last public appearance of the benefactor, and the disappearance of the Kevin who refused. Viewers might recall that the Corbin was used a record 7 times for the stagings.
Back to Brett and Barbara.
For which we are certainly all grateful.
Yes, we are, Barbara. The sacrifices the Corbin family made, I don't think will ever be forgotten. In other news,
Cut to Kevin grabs a towel, then stands in front of the bathroom mirror, wiping his face. For a short while he stares at himself, wincing at what he sees. He is barely recognizable. His bushy beard and tightly shorn head with scarring and sores mark him as a man worn down by years and experiences he'd rather forget.
multi-phase viewing technology sees widespread adoption as more than half of all of the city's multiplexes have now been converted into Vika viewer theaters.
On screen, a photo of a reskinned multiplex with outdoor advertising. Vika viewing, now with sound.
Providing entertainment, relaxation, and enlightenment for a much greater portion of the population.
Kevin opens up a bottle of prescription pills sitting on the sink and peers inside. Several white pills left. He downs one of them with a bit of water cupped from the faucet and swallows hard. If only his throat wasn't always so sore.
How many times have you viewed Brett?
Oh, just a few times.
Kevin brushes his teeth and trims his beard with scissors.
Just a few times?
Okay. Maybe more than a few times.
Kevin, in a towel, moves to his large pack on the floor to grab some clothes for the day.
Lancer forces under the direction of Mayor Navarro are now working in conjunction with local shelters to assist with morning clearouts.
On screen, a team of Lancers usher a group of homeless people out of a shelter with their long batons.
To help our most diseased and underprivileged citizens migrate to rural areas that might be more hospitable to their kind.
Kevin, coughing, gets dressed in his work clothes, plaid shirt, jeans, fingerless gloves, dirty boots, overcoat.
In an online message, the so-called Thomas faction claimed this new protocol to be, quote, drastic and not in keeping with the supposed peaceable rule of the benefactor. They cite the separation of children from their families as...
Kevin shuts off the TV. He puts on black, thick-rimmed glasses and a knit beanie, completing his new look. He wearily glances at his broken visage in the glass of a lamp and takes a deep breath. Exterior, motel hallway, 2nd floor, morning. Kevin closes the door to his room behind him, turns his collar up to the cold, and walks down the hallway. He passes a young father, Rajit Nadir, and a young mother, Priya Nadir, with their 2 girls just getting into their room. The young father nods a hello. Kevin throws a suspicious glance and keeps walking. Exterior, motel stairwell, morning. Kevin heads quickly down the stairs, feet beating the steps like machine gun fire. He passes an old, raggedy woman at the base with a cup out and drops in a few quarters with a series of clinks. She thanks him in Spanish. Exterior, city street, morning. Kevin walks quickly down the street. It's a stark, sunless morning. Desperate mothers dig through trash. Homeless people and families litter the sidewalks. Exterior, Vika Viewer Theater, day. Kevin marches past, not pausing to look at the beat-up, run-down downtown theater. The building was on its last legs even before Vika viewing became a thing 4 years earlier. A splash of vomit decorates the sidewalk out front. Yellowed poster cases blink on and off, and a ratty old red carpet testifies to better days long past. The barely held together marquee with a quarter of its letters missing advertises a premium Vika viewing experience that reads more as a joke than a boast. Kevin doesn't notice the small dishes of cat food and milk sitting outside, nor the desperate man drinking from it. Exterior, street corner, morning. 2 gloved hands reach up, 7 fingers outstretched.
I need 7.
Kevin jockeys for position at the front of a pack of tired and worn-out job seekers. A large bully makes it a particular point to shove Kevin out of the way hard. The sad, crusty foreman, standing in the bed of a large pickup, points to who he wants.
You, or you 3, and you, Butt Ugly McGee. And if I take you this time, promise not to come back.
But Ugly McGee nods. Kevin and the others selected load up into the back of the truck. With a slam, the bed is closed. After a double tap on the side of the truck, it speeds away. Kevin watches with a twinge of guilt as the hungry dozen left behind disappear from view. The large bully is among them. He noticeably glowers at Kevin. Exterior, construction site, day, later. Kevin hauls rubble and works alongside the other day laborers at the bombed-out building in dire need of repair. The work isn't easy, and the foreman's yelling is an added, unwelcome burden, but Kevin obeys, saying nothing. Gabriel, a disheveled, good-natured worker on site carrying a smaller load, runs up to Kevin.
Hey, Dan. Help you out with that?
Gabriel takes some of the load off Kevin.
Thanks. No problem. I got you. You got any pages?
Kevin looks up at the foreman. Their eyes meet. Kevin dumps his load into a pile of rocks.
No. What? You said there might be pages today. Keyword, might. You know they're going to hassle me if I come back again empty-handed.
Kevin glances up again, pushes past Gabriel, walks off.
Not today, Gabriel.
Exterior construction site, sunset. Payment envelopes are handed out to the tired workers for the day's labor. Kevin takes his. After opening and counting, he doubles back.
This is $6 less than yesterday. Only 6? You're welcome.
Kevin glares but keeps himself in check and walks away. He passes the truck he came in on as the workers load in to head back, stuffing some of the cash into his pocket and putting the rest back in the envelope and into his coat. The truck drives off. Kevin continues in the opposite direction. Interior, Minimart, night. Kevin purchases a couple cans of baked beans and some fruit pies at the register with the cash from his pocket. Exterior, City Street, night. Rough-looking people beg for food, poking their fingers through the holes of a chain-link fence. Kevin gives them each a fruit pie as he walks by. Exterior, run-down house, night. Kevin takes the envelope out from his coat and places it in a mailbox, then shuts it closed with a creak and a slam. A light comes on in the house. Kevin walks off. Fade to black. Interior, motel room, morning. The alarm clock rings out again. Kevin slaps it off, then opens the nightstand drawer. Still nothing inside. He sits up, coughs, and rubs the soreness on the back of his neck. Cut to Kevin praying at his bedside. Cut to he pops open a new can of beans. Cut to he loads a fresh piece of paper into the typewriter and types in between bites of the beans with a rusty old fork. On the typewriter we see the words, "And God said." His typing done for the day, Kevin rips the page out. Cut to he showers while the news plays on TV.
On the heels of Chief Herdlicka's announcement yesterday that the number of Lancers on the street.
Cut to Kevin opens the bottle of prescription pills sitting on the sink and peers inside. Only a few pills left. He downs one of them with a bit of water cupped from the faucet.
would be doubled by March in order to curtail increasingly violent protests from the Thomas faction.
Kevin brushes his teeth.
A fast-track program at the Lancer Academy will be launched later this month.
Kevin, coughing, finishes getting dressed.
Mayor Navarro reiterated today, with faith in the benefactor on the wane, especially among youth, it remains illegal to spread the spurious rumor that the Kevin who...
Kevin shuts off the TV. Now fully dressed with glasses and cap, he grabs a stack of typed papers next to the typewriter and stuffs them into a manila envelope, tucks the envelope into his overcoat, and heads out the door. Exterior motel stairwell, morning. Kevin's feet beat the steps downstairs. He once again comes to the old raggedy woman. He drops a few quarters in her cup. She thanks him in Spanish. Interior motel office, day. The slimy motel manager in a dirty white tank top at the counter flips a magazine and speaks with the desperate young father, Rajit. He pleads with the manager to give him one more night to find some work. The manager isn't having it. Kevin walks in, moves to the counter to try to slip the manager a cash payment and get out unnoticed. He fails.
Hey, Asada, help me out, will you? How's that? Get this guy out of my face. Another bad luck case looking for work.
Kevin places the money on the counter.
I'm just passing through.
He moves to the vending machine to grab a bottle of water. The young father moves with him, pleading with him.
I've got some electrical training. Carpentry. I'll run coffee. I don't care so as long as it pays. My wife and I don't care about your wife.
Kevin grabs his water and starts back for the door, leaving the young father behind.
Look, if it was just up to us, I wouldn't ask, but our little girls, kids on this side of town, that's just bad parenting is what that is.
At the door, Kevin's heart is pricked at the mention of Rajit's children. He stops in his tracks. He doesn't need this. New people are dangerous.
Please, if you know of some work, I'll do anything. Good luck to you.
Kevin leaves without another word. Young father watches him go, disappointed and without a clue what to do. Exterior, street corner, morning. 2 gloved hands reach up, 6 fingers extended.
I need 6!
Cut to, the large bully recedes from view as the truck drives away. Off his surly look, we reverse to Kevin in the truck bed. Exterior, construction site, day. The foreman directs his workers, including Kevin and Gabriel. With only the inertia of their survival instinct to propel them, they haul rubble from one place to another, endlessly. Kevin and Gabriel pass each other. Kevin leans in for a whisper.
Lunchtime.
Exterior, construction site, day, later. Lunchtime. Kevin pulls the manila envelope out from his overcoat and hands it to Gabriel, who quickly stuffs it into his. They sit apart from the other sweaty day laborers.
Thanks, Kevin. Don't call me that. Not here, not anywhere. No problem. Secret safe with me. First day I spotted you, who'd I tell? Your voice carries, you know that? I can't be the first one to point it out.
Gabriel is oblivious while Kevin constantly scans for wandering eyes, especially the foreman's.
Oh, hey, they want me to ask, do you, actually have, what's it called, a Bible? Because if you do, then, no, Gabriel, I do not have one. No one does anymore. I just remember. Right, you didn't bring one with you, though.
Is Gabriel stupid or something?
Engel, Asada, lunchtime's over.
The foreman is right behind them. Kevin grabs the remains of his lunch, gets up, and he and Gabriel separate in a hurry.
Sorry, boss.
Exterior, rundown house, night. Kevin places the envelope with money in the mailbox and shuts it with a creak and a slam. A light in the house comes on as he walks off. Exterior, motel hallway, 2nd floor, morning. Kevin locks his door behind him. He hears children screaming down the hall. As he walks towards the sound, he sees Rajit, the young father, standing outside his room. He's looking over some classified ads. The classifieds. The screaming kids. Kevin keeps walking, passing Rajit. But, after just a few more steps, his heart opens to release a little compassion. He doubles back to Rajit, extends his hand.
Daniel Asada. Rajit Nadir. Can you haul rocks, Rajit? All day if I have to.
Exterior, motel stairwell, morning. At the bottom, the old raggedy woman waits as Kevin and Rajit come down.
I can't tell you how grateful I am. How grateful my family is. Just don't make me look bad if you get picked.
Kevin reaches the bottom of the stairs and drops a few coins in the old raggedy woman's cup with a clink.
I won't. Thank you. Thank her.
The old raggedy woman looks at Rajit expectantly. He digs into his pockets and produces a few nickels he tosses in. The woman smiles and thanks him in Spanish. Exterior, city street, morning. Kevin and Rajit walk quickly down the sidewalk, passing the odd scuffle or grunting, sleeping homeless person.
My wife and I, we just want a safe place to call our own. We come from the outer reaches, beyond the city. The reaches? How? No one can live out there. I was born there. I know how to keep to myself, keep the girls hidden, and we kept moving, always moving to avoid scavenger packs. The war turned the reaches into a wasteland, but the radiation zones are mostly mapped, and there's cover if you know where to find it. But then the disappearances started like before, like the way they say it was before the shifters. Shifters, huh? I've seen it. People gone in an instant. Like that. Well, but last time shifters started making noise was right before the benefactor first showed up. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does. But Kevin is doubtful. Doubtful and intrigued. They pass a convenience store. There's some commotion going on inside.
The reaches aren't all bad. Lots of desperate people like us out there, in the cold, just looking for a little hope.
Two hungry young men light out of the convenience store with stolen food, narrowly missing Kevin and Rajit as they run by. The shop owner emerges and yells after them.
You think it's any warmer in the city? If he's here, then it is. Who? The benefactor? No, of course not. The Kevin who refused.
Kevin raises an eyebrow. Rajit is one of them.
Oh. Him. You don't believe it? That he stayed? I think you're better off not talking like that. Some beliefs don't play as well in the city.
They walk by the young men, now thrown to the ground. Lancers stand over them, bashing their heads with their batons. Kevin uses Rajit as cover to slip by unnoticed. Exterior, street corner, morning. Two gloved hands reach up, 8 fingers extended.
I need 8.
The foreman calls out Kevin and some others before having to pick between the large bully and Rajit. The large bully tries to push Rajit out of the way and jockey for position. Cut 2. The tailgate on the truck goes up, a double tap, and it takes off. Kevin is safely in the truck, and next to him is Rajit. Exterior, construction site, day. Super wide. Kevin introduces Rajit to Gabriel, and they shake hands. The foreman yells at them to work, and they hop to it. Slow-mo. Kevin lifts a heavy rock and brings it crashing down, kicking up plenty of dust and dirt. Exterior, construction site, sunset. Kevin walks by the truck he came in on as it drives off. We catch a glimpse of Rajit spotting Kevin going away in the opposite direction. Sound effects. We hear a creak and slam of the mailbox. Exterior, rundown house, night. The light comes on outside. Kevin walks away. Exterior, motel morning. A few homeless people wander the parking lot in the quiet of the early morning. Sound effects. Kevin's alarm clock rings out. Interior, motel room, morning. Kevin's hand slaps the alarm clock off, then moves to the nightstand drawer and opens it. Still nothing in the drawer. He coughs. Cut 2. Kevin turns on the TV. We stay with it as he goes to the shower. On screen, a screen capture of Kevin just before he walked out of the diner.
Formally addressed the rumors of the continued presence of the Kevin Garner who refused.
On screen, the kind-looking, open-hearted Mayor Navarro stands at a podium, addressing the press.
I am disheartened to continue to hear reports that, 5 years later, there are still those who believe Garner lives among us.
Exterior, motel hallway, morning. Kevin exits his room to meet up with Rajit. Exterior, city street, morning. Kevin and Rajit walk together down the street. They come upon an old, feeble-minded man being kicked around by some thugs.
This is as much a fantasy as the dangerous idea that the benefactor no longer guides our world.
Kevin scares off the thugs. Together, he and Rajit help the old man up.
Garner was shifted away that he might not further blemish our peaceful world with his disobedience. Only his memory infects those who believe him here and not disposed of by the one who saved us and continues to save us.
Interior motel room, morning. On screen, footage of Satan interacting with children and mothers in an outdoor market, smiling and laughing with them.
The benefactor will return. We must have faith that...
Kevin shuts off the TV. Exterior, street corner, morning. One gloved hand reaches up, 4 fingers extended.
Just 4.
Kevin and Rajit jockey with the others. The large bully is particularly agitated.
Lots of heavy lifting today, so I need him strong. McGee, put your nasty hand down.
The foreman picks the first 3 quickly, including Rajit, before struggling between the large bully and Kevin.
Let's see.
Back and forth he looks before locking eyes with Kevin.
Asa!
Before the foreman can even get the word out, the large bully grabs Kevin and punches him in the side of his head as hard as he can with a fist adorned by a huge, fat ring. Cut to black. Far, far away we hear Molly's soothing voice.
Kevin, wake up, babe.
Fade in. Interior, Garner home, bedroom, morning. Kevin's POV. He slowly opens his eyes to see a person in a hockey mask hovering over him in bed.
What are you doing?
Behind the mask, Molly laughs.
This is protection. You are a bear in the morning.
I wake up angry and I smash one alarm clock once. And you?
Well, today I'm your alarm clock, so...
Kevin flips the mask off Molly and pulls her down to the bed. She squeals with laughter. Still in Kevin's POV, we see her half buried in the pillow next to him. She is the glorious, radiant creature she was when they first got together.
And what are you waking me up for?
It's Saturday. Anything we want.
Kevin's POV wanders down Molly's body to see Satan in the doorway of the closet behind her.
Kevin, what's wrong?
Molly!
Smash cut to interior, motel room, morning. Kevin wakes up in a cold sweat, popping up from his bed.
Molly!
He breathes heavily, trying to get himself back under control. A white bandage on his forehead marks where the large bully's ring struck him. After calming down, he leans over to the nightstand drawer almost without thinking, opens it, and looks inside. He is, once again, disappointed by what he doesn't find there. Cut to Kevin, post-shower, opens his bottle of pills again. They're all gone. Interior, doctor's office, waiting room, day. A fluorescent light flickers just above Kevin as he sits in the green, sickly space. Surrounding him are a couple dozen adults and children, all of them in states of disrepair and illness, all of them quiet and withdrawn. A number is called, 17. Kevin looks down at his number, 32. Behind him he hears laughter. Kevin turns around to glance at an ancient man sitting alone, cackling directly at him. It's unsettling. The man doesn't stop. Interior, doctor's office, examination room. The doctor, looking not the least bit reputable, removes the bandage from Kevin's head and looks at the wound curiously.
When did you say this happened? 3 days ago. 3 days or 3 minutes? Might be infected. How about that cough? When did that start up? I don't know. A while back.
The doctor holds up a stethoscope to Kevin's naked chest.
Okay, breathe deeply.
Kevin takes deep breaths, but ends up coughing again. The doctor redresses the wound with a fresh bandage.
Well, your blood work came back negative. Well, that's good, right? Your body has taken a beating, but I've got no idea what's doing the punching.
Kevin knows. He knows all too well.
Your blood pressure, though, Through the roof. What do you do to relax?
Kevin looks at the doctor like he's nuts.
Yachting.
The doctor snorts a laugh. He finishes up the redress, puts his tools away, and writes the prescription.
That's good. I like that. What about Vika viewers? You ever view? Not anymore. Life's hard enough as it is without having to live it all the time. Try going back.
Kevin just glares at the doctor. Never.
A little escape will be good for you.
The doctor rips the prescription off the pad. Interior, drugstore, night. Kevin stands in a line of quietly miserable people at the pharmacy at the back of the store. Some food items and his prescription in hand. Ahead of him is a haggard young mother with a small boy by her side. The small boy tugs on his mother, loudly pleading with her for a toy. The haggard young mother looks back to Kevin to smile in apology. He sympathetically waves her off. She is beckoned to the register. At this same moment, an unsure man approaches Kevin to ask him if he's in line for the pharmacist. Out of the corner of his eye, Kevin catches sight of the small boy wandering into an aisle and disappearing behind an end cap. Kevin tries to get the attention of the boy's mother, but she's too busy with the pharmacist to hear him. He looks back to where the boy disappeared and makes a decision, then hastily tells the unsure man behind him he'll be right back. Kevin darts for the aisle where the small boy disappeared. When he arrives, he doesn't see the boy anywhere. He's gone. Kevin runs across aisle after aisle. It's all too frighteningly familiar. He flashes back to years earlier, doing this same run with Molly, aisle after aisle, as they looked for their son. To relive it again like this, Kevin's heart threatens to beat its way out of his chest. Finally, he doubles back to where he started. When he returns to the pharmacy, he sees the small boy, back with his mother. Kevin's momentary confusion at how the boy could have so easily slipped by him quickly gives way to rage. He marches up to the haggard young mother.
Ma'am, do you know where your son just was?
Excuse me?
Your son, he left, and you didn't even notice.
He's right here.
Every second you have to watch him. Every second, because that's all it takes, and he's gone, like that.
What do you mean? Hey, are you threatening us?
No, I just...
The haggard young mother takes a good look at Kevin. A spark of recognition flashes in her eyes.
Wait, I know you from somewhere, don't I?
No.
Kevin needs to get out of there. He whips around and walks quickly away, bumping the unsure man and accidentally dropping his food items and prescription. People stare at him, trying to get a look at the guy rushing past.
Hey, who are you?
The haggard young mother picks up the prescription and reads the name on the paper. Daniel Asada. Interior, motel room, morning. The alarm rings out. Kevin picks it up and throws it across the room. Exterior street corner, morning. The tailgate of the truck bed comes up. Beside it stands the foreman and Kevin. Kevin does not look well.
When have I ever... If I say I'm good to work, then I am. No, not like, all that. You need rest, Asada, not work. I need food. Please. Hey, please. And what do you think they need?
The foreman gestures toward the sad faces of the rejected workers who are just as hungry.
You ain't special.
Kevin looks at them, knowing the foreman is right. The truck speeds away. Exterior, Vika Viewer Theater, evening. Kevin arrives at the rundown theater to see its colorful proprietor, Ramirez, crouching low to pour out cat food and milk from the bottle into 2 small dishes.
Amelia! Come here, you stupid cat. Amelia! Hey, Ramirez. Hey! Long time, man. Yeah, well...
Ramirez, preoccupied, looks around, searching.
You see my cat anywhere? What does she look like? A cat?
Ramirez goes back to calling out for Amelia. Kevin stares at the theater, but bad memories haunt him. He decides not to go in and walks off. Ramirez calls after him.
You see her? You let me know, okay?
Exterior, Chef Paul's Cafe, night. Kevin finishes talking to the owner of Chef Paul's Cafe as he closes up shop. The owner shakes his head. He just can't afford another hand right now. Kevin thanks him for his time. Exterior, behind warehouse. Day. The door of the back of a large food delivery truck slides up to reveal a throng of hungry people outside begging for food. In the middle of them all, Kevin. The men in the truck toss out packages of food and bread one by one to the crowd.
Stay back! There's enough if everyone just takes one each.
Lancers stand at either side of the truck, ready to intervene if necessary. The people are too starved to care. Kevin is shuffled about as the taller men grab more than their fair share. He gets aggressive and jumps up, snagging a package for himself. Kevin stuffs the package under his arm and sorts himself out and away from the crowd, swatting away the people, grabbing at him. Just before he's free, he spots a young, hungry girl no more than 10 years old getting knocked about by the crowd and straining to grab at packages that come nowhere near her. Kevin sees a sickly mother not far away, holding a small baby close to her. She is clearly the young, hungry girl's mother. The sickly mother looks fearful for her daughter, but in her compromised state, she can do nothing. Kevin doubles back to retrieve the young, hungry girl. He gets bumped about, but gets to her just in time to see her knocked hard to the ground. Before she's trampled, Kevin grabs her. The Lancers move into the crowd. Kevin brings the hurt but still conscious young, hungry girl to the sickly mother. She falls all over her daughter, hugging her and wiping the dirt off her face with her tears. Kevin can't stand it. He removes the package from his jacket and hands it over.
Take it.
She grabs Kevin's hand and begins kissing it.
Please, that's not... Don't do that.
The sickly mother won't let go. She locks eyes with Kevin, and they share a moment of recognition, one Christian to another, spirit speaking to spirit. Tears well up in Kevin's eyes. Bang! A Lancer gunshot rings out. Kevin ducks. In a state of panic, he turns around to see the crowd disperse. When he turns back around, the sickly woman and her children are gone. Confused, he disappears into the rushing crowd. Interior, motel room, day. Another fresh paper is loaded into the typewriter. Kevin types furiously, encouraged by yesterday's encounter. And it came to pass he was blessed at the end of his trial with, on the TV, the news.
Shifters in the Chinatown district. Officials would not comment either way, but local residents cite a number of disappearances.
Exterior, motel stairwell, day. Kevin runs down the stairs with the newest pages tucked under his arm. At the base, he turns out his pockets and greets the old raggedy woman with a kiss on her forehead. After Kevin dashes away, the old raggedy woman, more than a little PO'd, wipes the kiss from her forehead. Exterior, construction site, late afternoon. The quitting time horn rings out, and Kevin runs up to Gabriel in line for his payment and hands him the new pages.
Kevin, what are you...
Shut up! Right, sorry.
Nearby, unseen, Rajit's attention has been caught.
Are those new pages? Take them. These stories, best recruitment tool the faction's ever had. I mean, they're not really my thing, but they give a lot of people hope, you know?
Gabriel reaches the front. The foreman sees Kevin.
Asada, you've been here the whole time and I didn't see you? No, I... Good, because I'm paying you either way.
The question answered, the foreman moves on from Kevin to address the workers loading up into the trucks.
All right, listen up. As of today, the site is closed. Good luck finding work tomorrow, but it ain't gonna be here.
Lots of grumbling from everyone. Gabriel notices Kevin wincing from stomach pain. He takes his money, then claps his friend on the back.
Come on, let's get you something to eat. I'm buying.
As they walk away together, Rajit still watches. Exterior, rough alleyway, evening. Huddled away from the busy street, Kevin chomps down on a small, ugly sandwich. Gabriel looks on with concern. Nearby, a group of boys torment a runty boy near a dumpster.
How you holding up? Fine.
Kevin coughs, wipes his mouth, continues eating.
Yeah? You being who you are, what you did, think you'd be getting a little more support from, Hey, I'm alive. I'm eating this delicious, whatever this is. Oh, that's right. Your prayer was answered by the bare minimum terrible sandwich god. Sorry, my mistake.
Gabriel is joking around, but Kevin is visibly rattled. His friend is getting close to his deepest fear. But Gabriel can get closer.
What do you think you're doing wrong? Wrong? If I had taken out the benefactor the way you did, it wasn't me. It was... Okay, but that's my point. Now you're left here with the rest of us to starve and beg for work? If it was me, I'd be worried I'd ticked him off somehow.
Kevin, suddenly not hungry anymore, lets the sandwich drop from his mouth. Gabriel takes it and bites into it.
Or I think maybe he was never there in the first place.
Kevin stares, silently.
Maybe it was a trick.
The boys push the runty boy into the dumpster. He cowers in fear. Kevin notices.
Do you think we should... Nah, just kids being kids. Gabriel, you ever read any of the pages I give you? Does a mailman read the mail? You should check him out sometime. He puts his people to the test.
Gabriel looks at Kevin for a beat, then gives up this line of reasoning for his friend's sake.
Okay, if that's what you think it is.
A new boy shows up to challenge the boys picking on the runty boy. He gets them to back down. Kevin smiles.
God requires patience. He shows up when you least expect it. Sure, you've been here 5 years. How much more patience do you think you got?
Kevin doesn't answer. Gabriel's got his number. The new boy yells at the runty boy to run away. The runty boy lights out of there.
What do you believe in, Gabriel? Me? I believe in myself. I believe in what the faction is doing, but I don't believe everything they preach.
The new boy picks up a rock and throws it right at the runty boy, hitting him square in the back. The other boys howl.
Hey!
Gabriel runs at the boys, shouting and chasing them off. Kevin darts over to the runty boy and picks him up. His face is full of dirt and tears. He kicks Kevin hard in the shins to get away. Kevin lets him go and doubles over in pain.
Thanks for that. Thank you so much.
Gabriel runs over to Kevin. It starts to rain.
The hell? Now I want to hit him with a rock. Forget everything I said. You do you. I'm just thinking out loud here, all right? Don't worry about it. All right. I need to deliver these pages. You okay? Yeah. Go.
Gabriel leaves Kevin alone with his thoughts while the rain pours down on him. Exterior, rundown house. Night. The street is wet after the rain. Kevin shuts the mailbox and walks off. We stay on the mailbox as the light at the house comes on and a man emerges with a shotgun. The man steps off the porch cautiously. We can't see him clearly. He only comes into focus as he arrives at the mailbox. He is Tina's father, the owner of the Corbin Diner. He reaches into the mailbox and grabs the note inside. The note reads, "I'm sorry, I have nothing left." Footage. A bombing aftermath. Fire trucks on the scene, police. They're doing their best to put out the smoldering ruins.
Hundreds dead today as the doubters of the benefactor known as the Thomas faction bombed the city's water treatment plant and the surrounding area.
Interior, news studio. Brett and Barbara discuss today's news for the benefit of the camera. Barbara produces what looks like a religious tract.
Their stated purpose? A protest of what they feel is the continued rule of, and please note I am directly quoting one of their tracts, of a boogeyman.
There's no justification for this. Frankly, I find it offensive that these same people hold so tightly to belief in some imaginary being they haven't seen when I can look at my hand and still be warmed by the memory of the day the benefactor shook it.
Do they want things to go back to the way they were before?
We chose war and death until the benefactor saved us from ourselves.
You were there. You remember.
Yes, I do.
Man is an animal who must be tamed, not reasoned with. Reason failed us.
No, Barbara, not reason.
Exterior, Vika Viewer Theater, day. Kevin walks up and enters.
It was faith that failed us first.
Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, lobby, day. Kevin is led through the lobby and down the hallway by Ramirez. He carries a bag of cat food and a milk bottle.
Things have changed since last time you come in. Used to be people just wanted to see themselves happy, you know? Live vicariously and forget their crap life in this garbage reality in favor of their high life in another. The way it's intended, right? Good old-fashioned wholesome pacification.
A few homeless people line the walls, people who Ramirez has allowed shelter for at least the day. He greets them as he and Kevin pass by without skipping a beat in his monologue.
But more and more, what people want now is the dark stuff you always used to get. They ask to see their dops down and out, mutilated, in prison. They rave when they get a prison view. Of course, I tell all of them, it's random. It's totally random, and I got, zero control.
They reach the door to the auditorium. Ramirez stops to bring Kevin in close, to get quieter.
But you know what's crazy? They keep asking anyway. Even crazier, I think it's working. I see the feeds, and I'm telling them, somebody's listening to them because this business, it is getting darker, dirtier. Wonder if maybe that wasn't the plan all along.
Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, auditorium. The door, in serious need of some WD-40, opens. Ramirez and Kevin step inside. The auditorium is massive and ornate, but run down with every year its decades-old decor suggests. Hundreds of unoccupied theater seats extending upward from the floor reach back to the wall where the projector is housed. In the front of the auditorium is a giant white movie screen, resting just above a stage where a single solitary chair sits facing it. The chair is spot-lit and draped with a small push-button device with wires running out from it.
Hey, what's that thing when a person really enjoys it when other people are miserable? Schadenfreude, Schadenfreude, whatever. Schadenfreude? Yeah, that. But so what's it called when the misery you're enjoying is your own? When it's your own dop. Huh? What do you call that? That's a brain teaser right there.
Ramirez crouches low to pour out some cat food and milk from the bottle into 2 small dishes.
Amelia! Amelia! Kitty, kitty, kitty. You still looking for that cat? Well, I ain't found her yet.
Kevin plops down in the chair on the stage. Ramirez fiddles with some controls.
I can't pay. Don't insult me, okay? You know the drill.
Ramirez speaks with the rapidity and boredom that can only come from repeating something for the 1,000th time.
The sequence occurs randomly. You push the button to call the next one up. Neither myself nor this fine establishment are responsible for the content you are about to view. All views are 100% real, looks into realities which we do not currently occupy, and are limited to your direct doppelgangers. Any questions?
Ramirez hands Kevin the push-button mechanism.
What's this? Still no wireless? You want wireless? You go to one of them fancy multiplexes stealing all my customers. You come here for my peace and quiet. You get old school. What are you even doing here again, man? Maybe I'll see her this time. Maybe.
The projector light shines out with a whir from the booth. Kevin is now alone on the stage, watching the screen. The first view comes up. Like all views, it's silent, and from an overhead, almost security camera angle. The Kevin on the screen sits in a large office. A sheepish underling walks in and begins to stammer out something, but Office Kevin is having none of it. He gestures to the underling to move to the desk between them and place his hand on it. Without warning, Office Kevin picks up a stapler and slams it into the underling's hand. Kevin winces and quickly pushes the button. Next up, Hollywood Kevin. In a palatial apartment, scripts and alcohol are piled high on a coffee table. Hollywood Kevin offers a drink to a young, timid, wannabe starlet and places his hand on her thigh. Kevin quickly pushes the button again. Mob Boss Kevin. In a grand mansion, Mob Boss Kevin stands at a fireplace when his thug underlings drag a bloodied man in and tie him to a chair. Mob Boss Kevin nods to the thug standing beside the bloodied man, and the thug wallops the man in the face. The bloodied man tries to recover, spits out a few words. Whatever's been said, Mob Boss Kevin is not happy. He holds out his hand, and the thug hands him a long knife. that he goes to insert into the bloodied man's stomach. Kevin pushes the button to keep from seeing the knife go in, and then keeps pushing the button over and over again. Prison jumpsuit Kevin, stoned out of his mind Kevin, hitman Kevin, screaming baseball coach Kevin, barfly Kevin hitting a dude over the head with a broken bottle, thug Kevin beating up a man in the alleyway, evil dad Kevin terrorizing his wife and children, and then Molly. Just Molly. She sits in a cafe, sipping tea, and gazing out the window onto the peaceful, busy street. A friend joins her, and they begin chatting. Kevin slowly gets out of his chair and walks toward the screen, gazing up at it, touching it. He can't believe it. After all this time, after 5 years, it's Molly. The projector shuts off and the screen goes dark.
Time's up.
Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, hallway, day. Kevin bursts out of the auditorium. He rushes towards the door to the projection booth, calling out.
Ramirez! Ramirez, get out here!
Kevin reaches the door just as Ramirez opens it.
Did you see it? It was her. That was Molly? It was her. Can I... Like, it's not possible. The only feed you can get is your own. The only feed you're allowed. It was Molly. I'm telling you, it was, well, Molly. You're not... No, look, think real hard. Were you in the frame? Like, at all? No, you saw what I saw. I could lose my license for this. Again, I want another session.
The wind goes out of Ramirez's sails.
No, please, look, I need to see her again. No, look it, Kevin, I'm a businessman, right? I don't care who you are. I keep your secret, so you do this for me. You shut your mouth about this. What do they call it? Quid pro quota? I want to go again. Promise me. I promise. I can't go again. Reserved through Wednesday.
Ramirez's next expectant customer walks up.
Then I'll be back Thursday.
Kevin walks off. Ramirez stares after him as the next customer starts asking about trailer park trash views. Exterior, city streets, night. Kevin walks the mostly empty street at night. Across the street, he spots a dressed-in-rags man and woman dancing under a streetlight to music unheard. Despite their unkempt appearance and unwashed faces, they have style and grace. Kevin lingers a bit, watching them in hopeful wonder. A lancer approaches the couple, prompting them to move along. Kevin resumes his walk. Fade to black. Interior, Garner home, living room, night. Fade in, Kevin's POV. On the couch, Molly instructs Kevin in the art of the pedicure as he delicately applies nail polish to her toes.
Are you even getting the nail, like, at all?
When was the last time you washed these feet? Because, wow.
Kevin's POV shifts as he looks up to see a pregnant Molly.
Very funny.
I laugh or I cry.
Kevin's POV shifts back down to continue his work.
Who is she, Kevin?
What?
Whoever you saw, she wasn't me, because I'm gone. Lost forever.
Kevin looks back up. Molly isn't pregnant anymore. Instead, she sits with their little boy as we last saw him in the grocery store, with Tina the waitress right behind them.
We all are.
Interior, motel room, morning. Kevin wakes up at the typewriter, shaking. Exterior, blocked off street, day. Barricades and a group of lancers hold a crowd of people back from entering the street. An unmasked lancer with a bullhorn makes an announcement.
Do not cross the barricade, or you will be shot. That's a promise, people. What? Why? I need to get home.
Kevin makes his way through the crowd and spots Rajit. He comes alongside his friend.
What's going on? Looks like we're taking the long way home.
Kevin looks back to the unmasked lancer. Rajit keeps his gaze fixed on Kevin.
By order of the benefactors, several buildings on this block are scheduled for demolition and... Which buildings?
No, you
I
can't.
lived
here. You lie.
He's gone.
My children are still in there.
The crowd presses forward.
Back! Behind the line!
The lancers draw rifles.
back!
An enraged man bursts through the line and jumps the barricades. He leaps past the lancers and keeps running. A lancer raises his rifle to shoot the enraged man, but is then hit with a large rock, throwing off his shot. Encouraged, the crowd surges forward, pressing against the screaming lancers.
Get their guns!
Death to the benefactor! Death to
Death
the
to the
boogeyman!
boogeyman!
It's the faction! Round them up!
The lancers struggle, using their batons to little effect. One of the near-rioting mass grabs a rifle off one of the lancers, knocks him to the ground, and trains it on him. Then, in an instant, the man vanishes. Everyone panics. Cries of "Shifters! It's the shifters!" ring out. The lancers start shooting into the chaotic cattle rush of the crowd as it tries to disperse. Kevin struggles to get away. He looks over to where Rajit was previously and sees nothing. He's gone. Wham! Kevin is elbowed in the head and stumbles toward the lancers. One of them takes sight of him and points.
You! Stop right there!
Kevin freezes. A hand comes down hard on his shoulder and he's dragged back into the crowd. He spins around, ready for a fight. It's Gabriel.
Come on, we gotta get out of here!
Kevin and Gabriel push their way through. Kevin takes one last look back to find Rajit. He's nowhere. Interior, abandoned building, day. Gabriel and Kevin rush in and close the door behind them. They catch their breaths, while outside people scream and run away from the lancers.
You asked me what I believe. I try to believe in God, Kevin. I really do, but he has abandoned us. And you. We both saw what just happened, and it wasn't God that took that man away. That was a shifter. A shifter? I don't see anyone with a deviator. Shifters stay hidden. No one knows who they are. They probably have families, jobs. They could be anyone. You think Satan is back?
Gabriel sits down and shakes his head. Kevin doesn't get it.
You weren't here when it went down the first time. He didn't do it all by himself. For months before he arrived, the shifters prepared the way for him, removing people who were a problem. Then one night, 1 billion people, soldiers, politicians, pastors, anyone who wouldn't get with the program, they all just disappeared. That was the night Satan ended the war. And if he had done it sooner, then innocent people like my father wouldn't have...
Gabriel chokes on the words. Kevin eyes his friend with sympathy.
I don't know. I don't know what's right anymore. I think what the faction is doing is a good thing, fight the power and all that, but there's a part of me, he's the benefactor, right? He helped us, saved us. You don't know how bad things got before he fixed it all.
The two fall silent. Gunfire outside.
I'm sorry about your father. I didn't know. Yeah? Do you ever stop to think about who made this world so bad in the first place? What? Maybe Satan didn't rescue you. Maybe he exposed the thumb he'd put you all under a long time ago. The benefactor, he's not a benefactor. He doesn't fix. He doesn't make better. But there was someone who did, who healed everyone who showed him just a little bit of faith. And if you read the pages, you'd know that.
Gabriel moves towards a boarded-up window. He's thinking.
Jesus. So you have read them.
Gabriel steadies himself against the wall and looks through the window. The shouts and gunshots have died down.
Looks like it's safe.
Kevin spots a rusty nail poking out from a wooden beam.
When I prayed, Satan told me he would be at my heels, that he would never leave me alone. It's never safe.
Exterior, motel manager's office. Motel. Evening. Kevin exits the office, distraught and coughing. The motel manager chases after him to the threshold.
Payments due at the end of the week, Asada. After that, find your charity somewhere else.
Kevin turns a corner to get out of sight and give in to his coughing fit. He spies a nearby trash can. After recovering, he takes a long, reluctant look at the garbage before diving in with both hands, searching for something to eat. He finds a half-full bottle of liquor and a mostly eaten burrito, but he only has eyes for the bottle. Kevin salivates. He can already taste it.
Hungry?
Embarrassed, Kevin puts the bottle down and looks up to see Rajit holding up a bag of what has to be food. Interior, Nadir motel room, evening. Priya Nadir, Rajit's super-capable, world-weary wife, finishes mending some clothes while her two girls run around.
Amna, Mary, sit. The neighbors downstairs will hear your feet.
The girls stop and look at each other, then begin jumping up and down, pounding their feet on the thin floor all the more. A voice from below bellows out, "Hey, knock it off!" sending the girls into fits of giggles. Priya gives both girls playful taps on their bottoms.
The city has spoiled you. What happened to my desert possums, huh? Where did they go?
The girls try to stop laughing, but they can't. The doorknob to the motel room jangles, and Rajit opens it up to come inside with Kevin. The girls run to throw their arms around their returning father.
Daddy!
Priya, we have a guest.
Priya approaches Kevin, and they exchange a brief hug.
Rajit has told me so much about you, Daniel. Welcome.
Rajit holds up his bag of food as his girls jump up and try to grab it.
I bring goodies.
Exterior motel second floor, night. Distant police sirens wail. Interior, Nadir motel room, night. The food on the small blanket in the center of the room is a spread of opened, completely unappetizing MREs.
What a blessing this is.
The adults finish up their food. The two girls have already resumed playing.
Thank you for having me. My family, we wouldn't have made it another day in the city without you, much less these past weeks. I went out into the reaches once. Never seen anything like it. Land wasted away into forgotten battlegrounds, stretching up mountains. I could hardly take a step without the crack of bones beneath my feet.
I'll be glad to never hear that sound again.
It was familiar, at least. We're trying to make a go of it here, but with work drying up now.
Priya gets up to give her husband a reassuring shoulder rub.
I would rather live in the gutters here than spend another night cowering in a rusty abandoned tank out there.
Rajit takes Priya's hand and kisses it. Kevin is touched by their bond. She starts collecting their trash from dinner.
The motel manager came by again this morning, asking for money. I don't like that man. I don't like the way he looks at me. He stinks.
Priya, don't judge.
Smelling a person is not judging, Rajit. It's observation.
That's not what I'm talking about. And what are you doing getting near enough to smell him?
He's a close talker.
I never noticed that.
Because you are not a woman.
The brief marital back and forth is amusing to Kevin, and it reminds him of what he's lost. Painfully so.
I should be going. Thank you again, both of you.
Kevin gets up, but Rajit reaches out and grabs him, stopping him cold.
Kevin, wait.
Kevin goes white. What did Rajit just call him? Priya goes to the window to check for anyone nearby, then locks the door.
Sit down, Kevin, please.
Kevin sits back down slowly. He's skittish, like a trapped animal.
Girls, quiet. Stay where you are.
Look, whoever you think I am, I've seen you with Gabriel. I see what you give him. They're just some documents. They're scripture. Scripture is illegal. I'm not him. I don't know why no one else can see it, but as soon as Gabriel called you by your real name, you are the Kevin who refused.
You're the one we've been looking for. The one everyone is looking for.
I'm not.
Rajit leans in, getting close to Kevin's face to examine him with a look of utter wonder.
But you are. Are you a shifter? Are you both shifters? Is that what you think?
The tension dispelled somewhat. Priya brings the girls over.
Girls, Kevin would like to hear your song.
Kevin looks up from the girls to Priya and then to Rajit. His unease couples with curiosity.
Quietly.
The girls are hesitant at first, but then sing This Little Light of Mine with voices barely reaching above a whisper.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, yes, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. let it shine.
Kevin understands and his fears disappear. He is hit with a powerful release of emotion as the girls sing out their quiet, isolated act of worship.
Even when I'm afraid, I'm gonna let it shine. Even when I'm afraid, I'm gonna let it shine. Even when I'm...
Rajit stops the girls after seeing that Kevin is so overcome by the beauty of the moment that he's weeping. The girls, they remind Kevin so much of what he's lost and so much of what this world is denied.
What can I do for you? Will you teach them? Me?
Tell them a story.
The stories, they're not word for word. They're what I remember.
Priya ushers the girls into a seated position in front of Kevin.
I don't even know which story to tell. What are you working on right now?
Kevin ponders. He's never spoken the stories out loud. He's tentative at first, but as the girls listen with wide-eyed wonder, he settles in.
There was a righteous man, and his name was Job. The devil was sure Job only praised God because God protected him. So, God took away his protection, and the devil was allowed to hurt Job. Job lost his children, his money, his health.
Exterior, motel second floor, night. Kevin and Rajit stand at the hallway balcony, looking out on the peaceful night while Kevin endures another coughing fit.
Oh, man. Are you all right?
Kevin is too worn out to respond. For fear of being overheard, they lower their voices.
So, in the end, he gets it all back? Money? A new family? Everything? All that he had and more besides. Twice as much. I bet that really pissed the devil off. I bet it did. But why? If God already knew Job was a righteous man, why allow all that suffering? Not to prove it to the devil? No, I don't think so. Then why?
Kevin just stares out. He doesn't have an answer. Mad wails pierce the quiet of the night, air horns, straight out of the lead-up to a World War II London bombing. Kevin and Rajit look at each other, neither sure what to make of it. Below them, the few homeless people taking refuge near the motel parking lot scatter. Kevin and Rajit hear footsteps charging on the walkway. They turn to see a thin wisp of a woman in an old, ratty bathrobe rushing straight at them. As she passes,
Turn to Channel 7, you idiots.
a few doors down, she disappears into her motel room. Interior, Nadir Motel Room, night. The TV is turned on and tuned to Channel 7. On the screen is a graphic reading, "Please stand by for instruction." The Nadir family and Kevin huddle around the TV, waiting for they don't know what. Then, the graphic disappears, and they see Barbara and Brett.
Good evening. Tonight, we bring you the good news that at long last the benefactor has returned.
Kevin's stomach drops. He moves closer to the TV, desperate for details. Priya draws her girls closer to her. As Barbara speaks, a series of names scroll on the screen.
His primary purpose, as in times past, is the staging of a Kevin recruitment. In 2 days, the following citizens, chosen by random lottery, are to report to the Tower Cafe on Olive Street for their outfitting and instructions.
Time cut. After broadcast. At the door, Kevin shakes Rajit's hand and gives a tearful Priya and the girls hugs goodbye.
These names will be repeated every hour on the hour until the staging begins, both here on this station.
Exterior, motel second floor hallway, night. Quiet sobs resonate out from within the rooms along the hallway. Kevin exits the Nadir's room, and the door closes behind him. He looks out at the night. What should he do?
And over the emergency alert system throughout the city.
Interior, Nadir motel room, night. On the TV screen is Brett.
We remind all those called to the Tower Cafe that to serve in a staging is a civic responsibility.
Exterior, motel front, night. Kevin, hands in pockets and hunched unto himself, walks away from the motel. The sobs can still be heard.
A sign of fealty to the benefactor that ensures the continuation of the peace we've enjoyed these past decades.
Exterior, railroad tracks, night. Kevin walks the tracks on the edge of the city.
Prior to the staging, the benefactor will spend the next 24 hours.
An oncoming train comes right at Kevin, its lights casting him in silhouette.
Seen to administrative matters with Mayor Navarro.
Kevin falls to his knees.
Paying particular attention to those citizens willing to negotiate for his blessing.
For all those required at the staging.
The train is right on top of Kevin and about to hit him. Cut to black.
Failure to appear is death. Peace unto all and good night.
Exterior, Vika Viewer Theater, day. A closed sign out front, a knock on the door. It's Kevin. He makes for a sketchy figure with his eyes darting up and down the street. There's no answer at the door. Kevin knocks some more. Nothing. He keeps knocking. Finally, Ramirez's muffled voice shouts out from behind the door.
We're closed. Who's this we? Ramirez, you're the only one that works here. Well, then I'm closed. It's Thursday. I close on Thursdays.
Kevin bangs furiously on the door. It opens just a crack. Ramirez peers through.
Stop, 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 stop. He's back. He is back. I don't know you, right? All right? I found Amelia. You did? Yeah. Just let me in and I'll give her to you.
Ramirez relaxes and Kevin pushes his way through to the inside. As he does, the theater owner is knocked backwards. The bag of cat food in his hand spills to the ground.
Now come on!
Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, lobby, day. Kevin remembers himself, apologizes, and gets down on his knees to help Ramirez scoop the food back into the bag.
Here,
Can't
let
you
me
just
help.
steer clear just for a couple of days?
How long has your cat been gone?
4 years.
4 years? You know, maybe you're thinking she's not coming back?
Or maybe it was the shifters who took her away. Maybe she's still out there. And if she is, she could come back.
Beat as Kevin watches Ramirez keep cleaning.
Yeah. I guess she could.
And I'll be ready for her.
Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, auditorium. Kevin throws himself back into the chair.
What do you think of the chances?
Of seeing a Molly Dop again? 0. The other day was a fluke, man.
Ramirez hands Kevin the small device with the button.
Okay, the sequence occurs randomly. You push the button to call the next one up. Neither myself nor...
Kevin grabs Ramirez, stopping his monologue.
I saw Molly last time for a reason. I know things don't usually happen on this world for a reason, but today, right now, it will.
I'm gonna get in so much trouble for this. I can feel it.
Cut to. The projector starts up and flickers out an image on the screen. We see a little girl watching a movie from the living room floor, her grandma sitting nearby, reading a magazine. Kevin scans the screen. Nothing. Not him. Not Molly. Then, the front door to the house opens and in walks Molly wearing blue scrubs. The little girl rushes to her, throwing her arms around her mother. Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, projection room. Ramirez's jaw drops.
Son of a gun.
Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, auditorium. Kevin is thrilled.
There. You see this, Ramirez? I see it. I don't believe it, but I see it. That's her?
It's her. It's her. It looks like she's a nurse on this world. Single mom.
How can you tell? No ring.
Kevin excitedly presses the button to view the next reality. Now, Molly is an actress, getting her makeup done. Kevin presses again. Molly in a car in the middle of traffic. Kevin presses again. Molly is a professor in a lecture hall. Kevin presses again. Molly is a psychologist in her office, listening to a patient. He leans forward. Psychologist Molly reaches for water on a nearby table. Kevin sees it. the empty tomb necklace dangling around her neck. Kevin drops the small device with the button and gets out of his chair. He's frozen, eyes wet, staring at the screen as the light from the projector spills behind him.
Kevin, what? What is it?
Interior, Vika Viewer Projection Room. Kevin bursts into the small room. The projector is hooked up to a series of monitors. On one monitor is what looks like EKG readouts that fluctuate according to signal strength. On another are weather readouts and time zone indicators. And on another is an internet browser opened up to a circa 1999 chat room. On the monitor closest to Ramirez is a series of numbers and columnated lists, running up the screen and renewing constantly with a highlight jumping from one number to another randomly. Kevin scans the monitor with the numbers.
That was her. That was my Molly. What do you mean you're Molly? The one before he shifted her. Come on, you can't know for certain that...
Kevin spins on Ramirez, grabbing him. He's frantic.
Look, I know. She was wearing the necklace when our son... Take it easy. Take it easy.
Kevin lets Ramirez go.
I gave Molly the necklace, the pendant. It was the symbol of the empty tomb of Christ on it, the symbol of resurrection. She kept it. My Molly kept it, okay? And that was her.
Kevin goes back to the monitor.
Which one was she? I don't know. It moved so fast. Which one was it, Ramirez? I don't know. You left the room and the feed turned off. Feeds are localized to the viewer. No viewer, no feed.
Kevin turns back to Ramirez.
So we reset the feed. Find her again. No, but you can't. The chances of seeing the same dot twice, it's a miracle you even saw her once. Exactly. Come on. Ramirez, I need you to... Please. We are way off the map here, right?
Ramirez nods.
I have been waiting and waiting for some kind of sign that he still cares. And this is him showing his face again. You said it. This is a miracle. A miracle. This would be your second one, though, right? Aren't miracles a rare thing? Why so many for you?
Kevin doesn't know what to say. Ramirez lets him off the hook.
But even if you found her again and got the code for the right world, and that's a big if, even then it wouldn't do you any good without one of the wrist thingies. A deviator. Yeah, without one of those you'd go in nowhere. But the only people who have them are shifters. And no one knows who they are. Hey, Satan's back tomorrow. You could always ask him.
A light comes on in Kevin's eyes.
Hey, I was joking. Don't you even think about it.
Kevin moves back towards the door to leave.
Just be ready. I may be in a hurry when I get back. What? How are you even going to get close? What are you going to do?
Kevin leaves. Ramirez shouts after him.
Kevin, what are you going to do?
Interior, Central Fish Company Eatery. Evening. Gabriel receives his fish and chips order from over the counter and thanks the owner. On speakers, we hear the ritual reading off of the names.
Aaron Bell. Bradley Cena. Brendan Cutter. Lupita Gonzalez.
Gabriel makes his way out of the store, already chowing down. As he passes two Lancers at the door, he flippantly salutes them both. They nod. Exterior, Central Fish Company Eatery. Evening. Gabriel emerges and heads up the street. The names continue on the outdoor sound system.
Tow Her. Adriana Lopez. Jamarcus Matthews.
Gabriel doesn't get too far before being pulled into an alleyway by a man in a hood. Exterior, dark alleyway. Evening. Gabriel drops his fish and chips and yelps. The hooded man, Kevin, quickly covers his mouth.
Shh.
Gabriel relaxes. Kevin removes his hand, but holds him close.
Kevin, what? Quiet. I need a gun. Can you get me one?
Gabriel pushes Kevin off.
Gun? They're illegal. You can't. What do you want it for? Go back to the faction. Tell them tonight. Just one gun. No, I can't. They won't. He's back. I need it to make him give me what I want. Him? You mean the benefactor? Yes. Kevin, that's insane. That's suicide. I won't help you.
A beat of silence passes between them. Frustrated, Kevin produces a new packet of pages and shoves them at Gabriel.
One of these days, you're going to have to choose a side for real. Here, treat them well. They're the last ones.
Kevin walks away. Gabriel draws a gun from his jacket pocket and holds it at his side.
I read some more of the pages.
Kevin turns around, sees the gun. Confused, he walks back.
There's something else out there, isn't it? Something better than this world. Yes.
Gabriel hands the gun to a still confused Kevin.
What? I'm always packing.
Kevin takes the gun and checks the chamber.
Thank you. You can't just shoot the devil. 5 years ago, I held him in my hands and I threw him against a wall. He's just a man.
Kevin puts the gun in his coat.
A man who could shift you into another dimension and turn your brain inside out, but okay. I just need him to think I'll shoot him. What makes you think he'll let you get close enough? He wants me close. That's all he ever wanted.
Exterior, motel, early morning. In the dark blue of the early morning, the sun is just beginning to crest the horizon. Interior, motel room, early morning. Kevin sits with both feet up on the bed, unable to sleep. In the dark of the room, the alarm clock reading 5:59 shines brightly. The alarm goes off. Absent-mindedly, Kevin shuts it off. Cut to Kevin opening the curtains to let the light flood in. Cut to Kevin putting on his coat and grabbing Gabriel's gun off the dresser. He moves to the door and exits the room, not bothering to lock it behind him. We hold on the still, quiet room for several beats. Then, Kevin comes rushing back inside and goes to the nightstand drawer, opens it, and looks inside. Nothing. He wonders just for a moment if he's doing the right thing, and brings the gun out of his coat to stare at it. Yes, this is absolutely the right thing. He shoves the gun back into his coat. Exterior, Tower Cafe, evening. The street outside is deadly quiet. No traffic, no signs of people whatsoever besides the patrons we can see inside. Then, entering from right of frame, Satan and another Kevin whose appearance mirrors our Kevin from 5 years ago, aka New Kevin. They enter the cafe and disappear inside. Through the windows, we see all the patrons go very still at the sight of them. A lancer on a horse, carrying a rifle, enters frame. Angle on, the other side of the street. Citizens emerge from shops and alleyways to gather on the sidewalk. Lancers put up barricades to hold them back, and they obey. Within the pressing crowd, we see him, Kevin. He keeps his head low as the Lancers move back and forth along the line, silently warning everyone to stay back. Kevin watches the patrols carefully, waiting for his moment. In a stroke of luck, 30 feet away, 2 men get into a tussle, and one of them spills past the barricades and falls to the street. All the Lancers immediately rush the man, guns trained on him. Kevin stretches tall to see what's going on. As he does so, he becomes visible to a woman nearby in the crowd. It's the same haggard young mother from the pharmacy in the grocery store. She silently makes the connection. Kevin seizes his moment and darts from the crowd, running to the other side of the street and the entrance to the Tower Cafe. Incredibly, none of the Lancers see him. The haggard young mother from the pharmacy still watches. Kevin reaches the cafe. Through the window, he sees Satan talking to New Kevin, just as before. There's even a waitress sitting next to Satan. He feeds her a bite of meat. Kevin draws Gabriel's gun out of his jacket and cocks it. He takes a deep breath and, with sudden speed, he opens the door to the cafe. Kevin and Satan's eyes meet. Kevin charges in, gun up, pointing straight at Satan's head. Match cut to interior, motel room, night. Kevin charges in, gun up. Confused, he looks around. This is his motel room, exactly as he left it this morning. He looks behind him to see the door open and the railing for the second-floor hallway, as he would expect. Not knowing what else to do, Kevin doubles back and walks out the door. Match cut to exterior, Tower Cafe, night. Kevin exits from the cafe door to be greeted by the sight of the street and the Lancers now moving towards him.
Stop!
Kevin turns back towards the cafe in fear and quickly goes inside. Match cut 2. Interior motel room, night. Kevin enters with full purpose, but no Satan, no waitress, no cafe. Bewildered and not knowing what else to do, he turns back around and runs back through the door again. Match cut 2. Exterior, Tower Cafe, night. Kevin runs straight from the door of the cafe and into the crosshairs of several advancing lancers. He begins to raise his gun again.
Put the weapon down! Stay where you are!
Kevin backs up towards the door of the cafe as the lead lancer continues to shout. When he reaches the door, Kevin steals a look over his shoulder to see Satan still sitting at the table, smiling a wicked smile at him. Kevin, enraged, darts for the cafe door and runs inside. The lancers open fire. Match cut 2. Interior motel room, night. Kevin tumbles into the room with a cry of pain. He shoots back through the open motel room door. The bullet ricochets off the second floor railing and Kevin ducks. A quick examination later shows that a bullet grazed Kevin's arm through his coat. But Kevin's bullet exited normally. Does that mean it's safe? Kevin goes to the open door and peeks his head out. Match cut 2. Exterior, Tower Cafe, night. Kevin peeks his head out from the cafe to see the lancers right up on him, searching for him. Eyes meet and guns are pointed, but Kevin quickly retracts. Match cut 2. Interior, motel room, night. Kevin comes fully back into the room, his cage. In frustration, he throws his gun against the wall, tosses his typewriter to the ground, and tosses the whole room. Papers go flying as he collapses to the floor. The fear and frustration of the past 5 years quake across Kevin's entire body. The despair and rage is so potent he struggles to breathe. Instead, he shouts to the heavens.
What am I supposed to do? I know I'm not good. You think I don't know that? It's better I'd never been born than suffer your games. What do you want from me?
Kevin is spent, exhausted, trembling. He gathers himself, regretting his words, and does the only thing he knows to do. He brings his hand to a prayerful clasp. But before he can get a word out,
Sorry to make you wait.
Kevin turns to see Satan sitting on the bed.
Had some business to take care of. You understand.
Kevin jumps up, looks around the room for the gun. It's not on the ground because Satan is holding it.
Now, where did you get this?
Kevin backs away slowly, not knowing what Satan will do.
Never mind. I think I know.
Without warning, Gabriel shifts into the room. He is facing away from Satan and Kevin.
And I told her what?
Gabriel flips around to see who else is in the room. At the sight of Satan, he turns white with fear and immediately begins dipping his head into a sort of bow.
Benefactor, sir, I...
Is this your gun? I found it here in Kevin's room, and he says it's yours.
Who?
It's okay, Gabriel. Talk to me, man.
Oh, wow, the Kevin who refused, the Kevin. I mean, everyone knows him, sure. We all know Kevin, but I don't, know him. So that's what a gun looks like.
You've never met Kevin?
No, like I said, Oh, this is classic. Deny him again. One more time.
Gabriel falls silent, ashamed. He won't meet Kevin's eyes.
This is the guy you've been trusting with your precious pages? Kevin, you are killing yourself to help people in a world that doesn't care about you.
Kevin just stares at the gun.
Oh, I'm not going to shoot you. Come on.
Satan taps his deviator and the gun disappears from his hand.
Gabriel, clean this mess up.
Gabriel brings himself up to the floor quickly and starts cleaning up. Satan walks the motel room, inspecting the medicine cabinet, hitting the keys on the typewriter, etc., and stepping over Gabriel.
You know what evil really is, Kevin? I mean, when you break it all down. It's not scary. It's not blood rites and red demons with horns and all that nonsense. It's just selfishness. Self before anyone else. Purest motivation there is, and I respect it so damn much. You hear that, Gabriel? I respect you. Thank you, sir.
Satan arrives at the dresser with all of the empty cans of baked beans. As he examines them,
Sorry, I'm all out. Wasn't expecting company. Yes, you were. You've been expecting company for 5 years now. That's your whole problem, Kevin. You keep expecting him to show up.
he turns to face Kevin.
And why shouldn't you? You prayed, and he came. You knocked, he answered. Isn't it reasonable to expect he'll hold the door open? But he doesn't. He never does.
Kevin's emotional armor cracks just a little.
When are you finally going to wake up and realize he doesn't take care of his own? Oh, he'll help you and make you think he loves you, and then he'll, what? What does he say? He'll always be with you? No. No, look at you. He's gone, and you're left holding the bag, alone. It's a test. A test? Kevin, are you even listening to me? You passed his test 5 years ago. How many tests are there supposed to be? I mean, where's the syllabus?
Kevin points to the nightstand.
There's supposed to be one in that drawer.
Satan sighs. Gabriel continues to scurry around, cleaning.
Kevin, I'm trying to help you. I really am. My offer still stands. You never have to eat baked beans from a can again. Unless you love baked beans from a can, in which case I'll get you a truck full. I don't judge. I have so much to give if you'll let me. And, unlike him, once you're with me, that's it. I got your back for life.
Beat. Kevin glances at Gabriel on the floor.
What did you do to my son? What? Did you shift my son away?
Satan pauses, then a strange smile comes over his face.
Oh, Kevin.
Heavy footsteps on the second-floor balcony and banging on the doors outside steal everyone's attention. Then screams, high-pitched screams that can only come from little girls.
Go ahead.
Exterior, motel second-floor hallway, night. Kevin rushes out of his room. He sees 2 Lancers down the hall at the Nadir's room. Rajit is yelling at them that he doesn't know anyone named Daniel Asada and that they need to leave. Kevin can hear the girls screaming and crying while Priya desperately tries to shush them.
Hey!
The Lancers turn to see Kevin. Rajit keeps yelling at them. One of them raises his gun at him. Rajit backs into his motel room, disappearing from Kevin's view. Kevin, worried for his friend, takes a step forward. Casually and callously, the Lancer with the raised gun shoots Rajit. He begins marching towards Kevin. Kevin ducks back into his room. Interior, motel room, night. Kevin rushes back in and closes the door behind him. He is greeted by the sight of a fearful Gabriel. A quick scan of the room reveals Satan is gone.
Gabriel, get down!
Kevin ducks behind the bed. Gabriel tries to follow. A hail of gunfire erupts the window of Kevin's motel room. Bullets tear through the bed and Gabriel's body. Gabriel falls. From behind the bed, Kevin spies his friend's arm outstretched, so his left sleeve pushes back to reveal a deviator on his wrist. With no time to think and no way out, Kevin scrambles to Gabriel's body, taking a bullet in the hand in the process. After some work, he rips the deviator off Gabriel's wrist and puts it on his own. Kevin starts pressing buttons and turning dials. The bullets whiz by. Kevin keeps pressing. He doesn't care where he goes, just that he does. He keeps pressing, and then... Match cut to... Interior motel room, morning. Kevin is shifted. He looks around, bewildered. It's the same motel room, but no bullet holes, no dead Gabriel. He inspects the wound on his hand. The bullet went straight through it. A light goes on in Kevin's eyes, and suddenly his pains don't matter. He rushes for the nightstand, throws open the drawer, and draws out the Gideon's Bible inside. Kevin is overcome with joy. He is finally free of that literally God-forsaken world. His eyes grow wet as he holds the book tightly and looks to the heavens in gratitude. Sound effects. The shower is turned off. Kevin looks to the floor of the room to see a suitcase with women's heels and clothing. He is not alone. A woman wearing only a towel emerges from the bathroom, takes one look at him on her bed, and screams. Kevin jumps up and tries to back away from her.
What are you doing in here?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Get out! Get out!
The woman grabs one of her heels and throws it at Kevin. Kevin dodges, trips, hits the deviator against the dresser, and falls. Match cut 2. Exterior, desert, day. Kevin is shifted. He lands on the dirt in the scorching hot middle of absolutely nowhere. Having used his hand with the bullet through it to brace himself, he screams with pain. After calming down, Kevin brings himself to his knees and dusts himself off. He tries to use the deviator. He can't quite figure it out. He looks around for anyone or anything that might be nearby. There's no one. He tries again, but this time he just bangs on the deviator with his fist. Match cut 2. Exterior, Bass Lake, day. Kevin is shifted. From mid-air, he falls into the lake with a huge splash. Gasping for air, he surfaces. He looks around for the nearest shore. Cut 2. We catch up to the scene that opened the film as Kevin pulls himself out of the lake and onto the shore, blood and water dripping from his hand. He checks the deviator. It's waterlogged and on the fritz, so he shakes it. Water flies out. He tries a few buttons, but nothing happens. Kevin looks around. Where should he go? Exterior, Bass Lake Road, day. Kevin, now mostly dry, walks the road toward the nearest town, testing the deviator, shaking it, hitting it. A car whizzes by in the foreground. As it leaves, it reveals Kevin is gone. Exterior, vineyard, day. Kevin is shifted into a row of grapes. He is utterly confused. 2 vineyard workers rise above the next row over and just stare at Kevin. He bangs on the deviator again. Match cut 2. Exterior, snowy mountainside, day. Kevin is shifted and he is freezing his butt off. Panicked, he starts pounding the deviator over and over again, sending him through world after world. Match cut 2. Exterior, outside Sci-Fi City, day. Kevin is shifted. He bangs on the deviator again. Match cut 2. Exterior, lonely highway, day. Kevin is shifted. He bangs on the deviator again. Match cut 2. Exterior, beach, day. Kevin is shifted. He bangs on the deviator again. Match cut 2. Interior, casino. Kevin is shifted. He bangs on the deviator again. Match cut 2. Exterior, busy city street, night. Kevin is shifted. He bangs on the deviator again. Match cut 2. Interior, asylum, medical supplies closet. Kevin is shifted. He's surprised by his suddenly dark, tight quarters. He looks around for a light switch, finds it, and flips it on. With the room now illuminated, Kevin can't believe his luck. He sees shelf after shelf full of first aid supplies. Interior, asylum, hallway. Kevin slowly cracks open the door to the supply closet with a now bandaged hand, just enough to peek through it. In the hallway, he sees orderlies and patients walking by. Some of the patients are straitjacketed and ranting, making it obvious this is some kind of psych ward. Kevin keeps watching, thinking, this doesn't seem like the kind of world he needs to explore. He sighs, wearily. And then he spots her, walking the hall in a stupor, escorted by 2 orderlies. Tina, the waitress. Kevin's world stops. He fixes his gaze on Tina. She's a skittering presence, her hair matted into stringy patches, and her gaze far off, telling of such wonderful, numbing drugs. She walks right by. Kevin is hidden just inches away. When she, and most importantly her attending orderlies, are far enough away, Kevin cautiously ventures out into the hallway, then heads in Tina's direction. Just before he reaches the end of the hallway to turn the corner, a man in a white coat emerges from a doorway, putting himself face to face with Kevin. Kevin halts his pursuit, looking as though he's seen a ghost. And maybe he has. The man in the white coat is Gabriel.
You're not supposed to be here. Gabriel?
Gabriel raises a gun, revealing a deviator on his arm, and shoots. Kevin ducks just in time, turns around, and runs away. Gabriel pursues, firing off another shot that also misses. More men in white coats emerge from other doorways. All the men are the same man. All the men are Gabriel, all wearing deviators. Kevin is too quick and ducks down a side hallway just as another shot is fired off. Kevin runs, first rounding a corner and then heading down another hallway. Ahead of him, he sees yet another 2 Gabriels emerging from 2 more doorways. Kevin pivots to the nearest door and enters a dark room. Through the door's window, we see him lock it behind him and run. 3 Gabriels run up on the door. Frustrated, they break the glass to continue the pursuit. Interior, asylum, dark room. At the back of the room, Kevin finds another door and goes through it. We hear the Gabriels opening the door behind him. Interior, asylum, hallway. Kevin runs out of the dark room and through a door to a stairwell. Interior, asylum, stairs. Kevin runs down the flight of stairs. A door above him opens. Interior, asylum, hallway. Kevin bursts through the first floor stairwell door and runs down the hall. He arrives at a common area. Through a window, he sees several patients, along with their visitors, enjoying each other's company. He sees Tina. Interior, asylum, common area, day. An asylum doctor gestures to a table with crayons and paper laid on it. Tina takes the hint, and flanking orderlies help her sit down.
Tina, please, do you know where you are today? Of course. Tell me. I'm far, far away. Far, far away.
The asylum doctor shakes her head, making a note on her pad, and walks away. Tina is alone. Beat. Kevin slips into the chair across the table from her.
Tina?
No response.
Tina, do you know who I am?
Kevin. At the table.
That's right. It's Kevin. You remember, don't you?
Kevin at the table points. The multiplicity of everything opens up, swallows. A big gulp. I am eaten in the words.
Kevin is pricked to his core.
Far, far away I go. So very far.
Kevin, full of regret, buries his head in his hands. Tina reaches tenderly and strokes his hair, pets it like a puppy. Then, without warning, she grips Kevin's head, digs her nails into the scalp, and pulls him up until their eyes meet.
I am eaten in the words.
Kevin pulls away, horrified. The other patients and visitors take notice. One of the orderlies leaning up against a nearby wall snaps his attention their way. Tina drags herself to something resembling lucidity.
I had a family, a husband, a daughter, a life.
A daughter?
Tina grabs Kevin's hand, the one with the deviator attached to its wrist.
What has he done to them?
I don't know.
Take me back. Take me away from here and take me back.
I don't. There's men after me, and they.
Take me back!
Tina's scream pops the orderly off the wall. He rushes to restrain her. Kevin tries to talk the orderly down, but he won't listen. Tina fights back, screaming and kicking, and she's pulled away from Kevin, her only hope. Kevin starts to go after her, but 2 more orderlies intervene and physically hold him at bay.
Let her go! Let her go!
2 gunshots ring out, and the 2 orderlies holding Kevin fall to the floor. Chaos ensues as patients and visitors scream and scramble to get out of the room. Coming into the room, 2 Gabriels, both of them with guns trained on Kevin. Kevin panics and manipulates his deviator. Before the Gabriels reach him, he vanishes. Interior Grand Mansion. Foyer, night. Kevin shifts in, ducking bullets that do not come. The foyer is ornately dressed with gold and silver. It spills into the mansion proper, cavernous and cold, with furnishings that reek of wealth. All is quiet, except for distant voices. Kevin walks toward them. There's something about this mansion that's familiar. Interior Grand Mansion. Hallway, night. Kevin creeps slowly. As he gets closer to the voices, he can just make out what one of them is saying.
Need a sandwich. Get you anything. All right then. I'll be back. I'll be back. Don't you worry.
Interior Grand Mansion. Great room, night. Kevin stealthily enters a great room with a fireplace, giant TV screen playing a movie, and a clear view to the spacious landscaped property with fountains and a pool outside. On one of several couches sit 2 women wearing slinky dresses, ignoring the TV and idly checking their phones. Kevin, unseen by the women, follows the man we heard earlier leaving the room. There's something about this guy. Has Kevin met him before? Interior Grand Mansion. Kitchen. Kevin enters to see the man rummaging through the fridge. He wears a silk robe, boxer briefs, and slippers. One by one, he pulls out the ingredients he needs for his sandwich and places them on the counter. The man briefly stiffens. He opens a cabinet above the counter, grabs something, and whips around to face Kevin. The man is mob boss Kevin. He holds a gun pointed right at Kevin.
Who sent you?
Kevin stumbles backwards, falls.
I know. No one.
Mob boss Kevin fires off a warning shot. We hear screams from the girls in the great room. Kevin scrambles backwards. Interior Grand Mansion, great room, night. Mob boss Kevin gives chase as Kevin keeps scrambling backwards. Mob boss Kevin advances right on top of him, gun pointed. The girls run out of the room, still screaming.
Who are you? You have any idea whose house you're in? What you're into just by coming here? Did they even tell you? No, I'm shut up. Please let me explain.
Mob boss Kevin takes a hard look and recognizes his own face.
You're, what are you doing here? Look, I know this is confusing. I said, what are you doing here? This is my world. My world!
Kevin understands that Mob Boss Kevin knows the score. He slowly stands up, keeping his hands up in surrender.
I'm not here for anything you have. If you'll just put the gun down, I'll be on my way.
As he speaks, the sleeve on Kevin's left arm peels back to reveal the deviator on his wrist. Mob Boss Kevin clocks it.
You've got one.
Kevin glances up at the exposed deviator.
Why would he give one to you? He didn't. Give it. Give it here. I can't do that. I said give it here.
Mob Boss Kevin pops off another shot. He keeps shooting as he walks toward the couch, determined to have a deviator of his very own. When he reaches the spot where Kevin should be, he's gone. Interior motel room, night. The room is lit up by the flashing blue and red lights of police cars outside. It's empty save for bullet holes in the walls and bed, bloodstains on the carpet, and the outline of Gabriel's body on the floor. Kevin shifts in. He looks around and quickly realizes where he is. To confirm it, he rushes to the nightstand to check for a Bible. Sure enough, it's not there, and he is back on the dark world. He goes to the window to look outside and sees 2 Lancers standing guard, along with Lancer-like detectives questioning residents. Kevin makes his way for the bathroom, and an escape plan he's clearly already set up. He removes the bathroom window and jumps down from it. Exterior motel, front side, night. An ambulance parked out front receives Rajit, still alive and breathing through a ventilator. His family lingers nearby. Kevin arrives at a corner of the building and watches from afar as the paramedics load Rajit in, desperately wishing he could rush to his friend's side. Then Kevin senses it. Someone with eyes on him. He turns to see the old raggedy woman from the stairwell staring at him. Her eyes dart from the Lancers to Kevin and back again. Kevin quietly pleads with her.
Please, don't.
On the soundtrack, the Jars of Clay song Oh My God from their album 20 starts at the 2:45 mark. Liars and fools, sons and failures, thieves will always say. Lost and found, ailing wanderers, healers always say. She makes up her mind.
Aquí está. Aquí está.
The Lancers on the ground whip their attention towards Kevin. The old raggedy woman keeps calling to them, crying out. The Lancers advance in her direction. Kevin runs. The Lancers start after him. Exterior, city streets run. Night. Kevin runs and runs, past the homeless lining the streets, through alleyways, hurtling around corners and ducking between buildings. As he runs, the world catches up to what it hasn't been able to see for the past 5 years. The Kevin who refused lives among them. All recognize him. All see him. And hot on Kevin's trail, the Lancers. Whores and angels, men with problems, leavers always say. Broken-hearted, separated, orphans always say. Exterior, Vika Viewer Theater, night. Kevin reaches the theater and runs inside. Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, lobby, night. Kevin shouts for Ramirez to lock the doors to the theater. Ramirez is shocked to see a deviator on Kevin's arm, but follows orders and quickly throws locks and chains on the door. The music is a driving force on the soundtrack, drowning out all other audio. Sometimes I cannot forgive. These days mercy cuts so deep. If the world was how it should be, maybe I could get some sleep. Kevin runs for the auditorium. Ramirez heads for the projection room. As they pass, the few homeless people scattered in the lobby rise up from their sedentary positions in a kind of solemn recognition of Kevin. Exterior, Vika Viewer Theater, night. Intercut with everything going on inside is the Lancers reaching the doors to the theater and attempting to get through. Sometimes I can close my eyes. All the fear that keeps me silent falls below my heavy breathing. What makes me so badly bent? Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, auditorium. Kevin is in the chair. Ramirez, up in the booth, cycles through Molly after Molly as they search for the right one. Exterior, Vika Viewer Theater, night. The Lancers resort to explosives and blow the door. Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, auditorium. Kevin spots the right Molly, the one with the empty tomb pendant, in a mall. He frantically calls out to Ramirez. Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, lobby, night. The Lancers enter, guns and rifles drawn. They advance on the auditorium, ignoring the homeless pressed up against the walls. The music kicks into another gear altogether. Sometimes when I lose my grip, I wonder what to make of heaven. All the times I thought to reach up, all the times I had to give. Interior, Vika Viewer projection room. Ramirez reads off the code from Molly's world. Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, auditorium. Kevin frantically enters the long string of numbers on his deviator. The Lancers burst into the auditorium, guns out. They advance quickly on Kevin, flanking him on all sides. Kevin keeps pounding the numbers. Ramirez keeps shouting them out. The Lancers are right on top of Kevin, guns pointed directly at him, in his face. All the cries of thirsty children, this is our inheritance. All the rage of watching mothers, This is our greatest offense. Kevin keeps entering numbers. The Lancers close in around him. One of them pulls back on his rifle's trigger. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Kevin disappears. Interior, mall, day. Kevin shifts in as the final piano chord in Oh My God plays out, and then she walks by, the original Molly with her girlfriends, shopping bags in hand. Kevin, quite the sight in this perfectly ordinary shopping mall with his multiple injuries and dirty clothing, collects himself. Molly is getting away.
Molly?
Molly stops, then turns around to be confronted with the last person she thought she'd see today. She approaches Kevin with caution, leaving her girlfriends behind to watch.
Kevin?
Kevin's words catch in his throat. He is overcome.
Molly? It's me. I'm here.
Are you all right? Do you need help?
No, I'm fine. I'm back now. I'm back. With you.
Kevin,
I'm sorry it's taken so long, but there's so much I...
don't.
But all that matters is that I love you.
Don't. Do not do that.
We were good together once. We were. You always said it. We were the best.
Kevin, what are you doing? You were the one who ended things, remember?
No, I wouldn't.
But it's okay. It was hard. But I've moved on, and I'm happy with someone else now, okay? And you have someone else too.
No, I haven't moved on at all. Whoever you're talking about, he's not me. This is so hard to explain. Just look, he must have been shifted in after I left. And maybe not just him. Maybe there have been several. Look, I don't know.
You're not making any sense.
A security guard approaches the messy, vagrant-like Kevin, standing very near him.
Sir, would you come with me?
But we don't care about the security guard. We don't bother to look at him as Kevin breaks away and narrows the gap between him and Molly, taking hold of her arm. She recoils.
I would never give up on us. Never!
But you did.
Molly breaks free.
I have to go.
She slips away, back to her girlfriends.
Sir, please, I need you to exit the mall with me. You're wearing the pendant.
She hesitates. Behind Kevin, the security guard radios in for backup. Molly turns back around to face Kevin.
I thought you hated it.
I don't hate it. I wasn't ready for it.
I just want things to be better.
And I needed time.
I'm sorry I didn't give you that.
Beat. Molly has been waiting a long time to hear those words.
Thank you.
And now?
Molly
reaches up and plays with the pendant.
Now I find my strength in it. Hope. It reminds me that one day we'll be with our son again. With Daniel.
That same hope keeps me going. That and being with you again.
Kevin.
Let's go.
Kevin narrows the space between them again. Molly doesn't back away this time, instead allowing Kevin to draw ever closer. The mall, Molly's friends, the annoying security guard back on his radio, all of it falls away.
I would do anything to change what happened. To you, to me, to...
Molly fights back tears.
I know I get things wrong more than right. We both know that. But what was, and will always be right is being with you. We are powerful together. But apart, we're each less than half. Or honestly, you're like the 75 to my 25.
Molly lets a little laugh escape through the tears.
All I want is to hold you, to love you, to have what we once had. That's impossible. I know that, but maybe there's still a chance for something new.
I don't.
There's no reality where if we both want it together, there's no reality in which we can't make it work, that we can't make us work. I know that. And all I'm asking is if there might be a part of you that knows that too.
Kevin.
Molly hesitates, unsure of herself. Then, carefully and with great trepidation, she reaches across the short distance to Kevin's hand and takes it lightly into hers. Their eyes make contact. Is a long dormant love rising up once again? Or is it pity?
Sir!
Kevin is pulled violently back by the shoulder and spun around, coming face to face with the security guard. Only, he's not a security guard at all. He's Satan.
We really need to go.
Smash cut 2. Interior, Vika Viewer Theater, Auditorium. Kevin and Satan have shifted in together. Kevin takes a beat to register his surroundings. Lancers guard the exits. Bullet holes line some of the walls and poke through the chair on the stage. The same chair flanked by Lancers and on which Ramirez now sits. He is startled to see both Satan and Kevin pop in. Kevin goes for his deviator. The Lancers move off Ramirez and toward him quickly. A gunshot rings out. The deviator is blasted off of Kevin's arm. He doubles over in pain. Gabriel, emerges from the shadows, smoking gun in hand, while Kevin groans in pain.
Kevin, I keep you safe. Keep anyone from recognizing you for all this time. I put you back with Molly.
Kevin looks up, clocks Satan's meaning.
And you just want to leave without so much as a thank you?
Not cool, man. Not when I've worked so hard to give you this second chance.
Second chance? At what? At doing the right thing. Become a power player. Riches, fame, working for me and being a big shot.
Kevin scoffs. He's completely disinterested.
No, that's not really your thing anymore, is it? You don't want to cause suffering. You want to alleviate it, right?
Satan activates his customized deviator. Tina shifts into the auditorium, straight from the asylum. She looks utterly confused.
Hi, Tina.
Tina shrieks and breaks into tears at the sight of Satan. He performs a swiping motion from his deviator. She chokes as though something is constricting her airways.
Please, stop. Haven't you done enough to her?
Me? I think we both know there's enough blame to go around, Kevin.
Kevin boils with shame. Tina is released and falls to the ground, gasping for air. Ramirez, not so much a fan of what happens to people in the room not named Kevin, looks panicked.
I don't know why you torture yourself. I really don't. You worry so much about being good and resisting me, and you know that it's not me you're fighting. It's yourself.
Kevin is rocked by Satan speaking directly to his fear. Ramirez begins covertly moving away from the action.
What, you think you can drop a few coins in an old woman's cup and give bread to a little girl and that makes you other than what you are?
You're twisting it all up. I'm not the worst things I've done.
To be fair, you're not exactly the best either.
No, I'm somewhere in between. On one side is you, and when I give bread, I move closer to him.
Him? Please.
Ramirez is spotted. Gabriel, hand on his deviator, makes him disappear only to reappear back in the chair.
Nah, I love a captive audience. Keeps the blood pumping.
Where is my son?
This again?
Did you have something to do with what happened to him?
Satan is offended Kevin even has to ask.
Well, of course I did.
Kevin lunges towards Satan in a rage. The Lancers restrain him.
Where is he? Bring him back!
Kevin, where he is, I'm sorry. I can't just shift him back.
Kevin lets Satan's full meaning sink in. His son is dead. Truly dead. He mourns, but his mourning is quickly replaced by a new confidence. Whether he intended to or not, Satan just reminded Kevin there is a greater power.
No, you can't.
Satan clocks Kevin's meaning, and he doesn't like it. He swipes on his deviator again and chokes Tina harder, forcing her to stand up.
Stop! Stop!
Tears form in Ramirez's eyes as he watches Tina struggle. But then, something catches his eye. Satan circles Kevin.
I'm going to give you the chance to put Tina back with her family. Would you like that?
Of course.
Great. Then we're on the same page. Let's bring him out, shall we?
Satan releases Tina. He gestures towards a lancer at one of the exits. The lancer starts to duck out.
Oh, wait. You know what we could do instead?
The lancer stops.
We could just put you back with Molly.
Satan gestures to the movie screen. Silent footage of OG Molly appears. She's still in the mall, now being consoled by her friends. Kevin is transfixed by the screen. Satan comes up beside him.
Despite the fact you look like crap, I got the feeling she's still into you. Love is blind, right? Yeah, I don't understand it either. What are you saying? One or the other, Kevin. Molly or Tina. Right an injustice in the multiverse by going back to the woman you love, or put the girl getting 3 square a day on another world back where she came from and never, ever see your wife again.
Kevin looks at Tina, then back to Molly on the screen. Tears well. He's torn. No idea what to do. Satan gets in his ear. Kevin wavers. Back to Tina.
Look at her. She's too far gone. Oh, sure, her family will say they want her back, but you will ruin every memory they have of Tina with this sad, broken corruption of the vibrant young woman she used to be. Do the thing. Don't make them go through that. There's a way out of this where everybody gets to be happy.
With Satan preoccupied with Kevin and all eyes on them, Ramirez makes his way toward the movement he spotted.
Say the word, and you will be back with Molly. You don't have to endure one single day more without her. She needs you. Comfort her. Console her. Be her husband again. Ask me, and I will make it happen.
Kevin gazes at Molly. She's right there. Right there. He closes his eyes.
You're a liar.
Satan looks genuinely hurt.
This is the second time you've called me that. I'm not a liar, Kevin. You can't lie when there is no fiction. You've seen it. You know I'll give you exactly what you want. You tell me, you know what? You know who's the liar?
Satan points up. His blood pressure rises as his declarations turn from a cynical rant into the hurt, maniacal cries of an abandoned little boy.
He's the liar. He lies to you when he tells you there's hope and goodness in the world. He lies when he says he loves and cares. If he really cares so much, then why am I allowed to do these things to you? Look at what he lets me do to you, to Tina, to everyone. If God was really so loving, why doesn't he stop me? Why doesn't he stop me?
Kevin has never seen Satan like this. No one has. Ramirez cries out from the corner of the room.
Amelia!
Everyone turns to see Ramirez cradling his orange tabby and feeding her some cat food from his pocket.
Where have you been, girl? Oh, I knew you'd come back.
Satan is utterly confused. So is Gabriel. And it's clear no one in the room has anything to do with Amelia's return. Kevin turns to Satan.
You're right. There is evil, and there is betrayal, and there is inhumanity in the world, yes. But even on this world, and even in me, there is also goodness. There is kindness, there is beauty, there is hope. God is here, and everything I have ever witnessed, everything I have ever done, even everything you have even put me through, just makes him that much easier to see.
Satan boils.
Tina or Molly? Choose.
One last time, Kevin looks to OG Molly on the screen, without looking away.
Tina. Of course, Tina.
Tina's parents and husband and child burst in through the side door of the auditorium. They rush to her, fall on her, and weep together. Tina's father looks to Kevin with wet, grateful eyes. Kevin meets his gaze with a different kind of gratitude. Satan is enraged. He gestures with his deviator, and Gabriel disappears, then reappears right next to him. Satan grabs Gabriel's gun away from him and trains it on Kevin. Screaming, he pulls the trigger. Bam! Smash cut to white. fade in. Interior, hotel bathroom. Kevin is in the fetal position on the white tiled floor. Soft, soothing elevator music plays. Is this heaven? Kevin slowly wakes up and shakily pulls himself together, then up to the bathroom counter. We get a good look at him as he stares at his new visage in the mirror. He looks presentable in a way he hasn't in a long time. The wounds on his face and hands are gone, his clothes repaired. He's clean. He takes a deep breath. No cough. Two men enter the bathroom, laughing and joking with one another. They move to the bathroom sinks to wash up, nodding at Kevin as they do. Kevin looks at the door they just came through. Interior, hotel bar, night. Kevin emerges tentatively from the bathroom to see the same hotel bar in which he and Molly first met. He looks around in bewilderment. Then, at the bar, he spies her. Molly. Not his Molly, but the nurse, dressed in scrubs. It's the one he saw before in the Vika viewer. Kevin can't believe it. At the bar, Nurse Molly sips on a Coke. Kevin approaches.
Well, there's the saddest, most pathetic-looking woman I've ever seen.
Excuse me?
She is clearly offended, angry. Kevin realizes his mistake.
Look, I'm sorry. Look, a friend once used that line on a dare, and it worked, so...
It worked? For real?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a terrible line.
It really, really is.
I'm Kevin. I'm better at this usually, really, but it's been a while, and I just thought...
That's great, Kevin. Good for you. But I'm coming off a 17-hour shift right now, so... Do you
Wait,
think maybe you could...
The cell phone next to Nurse Molly on the bar rings. She picks it up.
Excuse me.
sure.
Nurse Molly talks on the phone. Kevin sits there awkwardly staring. Even after a full day on her feet, she's beautiful.
Hi, Mom. No. I'll be home soon. Well, tell her I'm in a public place. Mom! No. Fine. I'll do it. I said it's fine. But then it's straight to bed.
Nurse Molly cups her hand over the phone and turns away to whisper sing, "This Little Light of Mine." Kevin is entranced.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Okay? Okay. Good night, sweetie. I love you.
She hangs up.
Kids?
Just the one. Just her and me now.
How lucky you are to have her. I bet she's amazing.
The sincerity in Kevin's voice and kindness in his eyes takes Nurse Molly by surprise. Not the usual reaction she gets from a guy when he learns she has a kid. She responds in kind.
Yeah, I am. And she is.
Buy you a drink?
No, I don't.
Tea, then?
She doesn't want to, but she does. Nurse Molly likes this guy. There's something about him.
Sure, why not? I know this great place nearby.
At the exit, Kevin and Nurse Molly walk up, but it's raining outside. They can't stop staring at each other. Kevin removes his jacket and covers her with it. Together, they head out the door and into the final montage. Exterior church day. Kevin in a tux and Nurse Molly in a beautiful wedding gown exit the church to a hail of thrown rice. At their side walks Nurse Molly's little girl in her own beautiful dress. Together, the small little family gets into a car adorned with cans and scrawled messages on the windows. As the car takes off past camera, match cut 2. Interior, Garner Home 2, living room. Nurse Molly's little girl rushes past as she's chased by her new dad, Kevin. The little girl gets cornered by Nurse Molly, then doubles back to Kevin, who scoops her off the ground and swings her. Match cut 2. Exterior, park, day. Kevin swings the little girl, now a little older, down into the ground, where he continues to give chase past swings and under slides, then across a playground bridge right above Nurse Molly, who smiles. Pan down to reveal Nurse Molly's pregnant belly. The little girl brings her face in close to the belly to feel the baby inside. We push in as she gives the belly a kiss, and then, match cut to, interior, hospital hallway. Nurse Molly is wheeled away in a wheelchair from her little girl kissing her belly and her husband Kevin. They watch as she goes away, but the little girl doesn't want her mom to leave, and she runs after her while Kevin gives chase. Match cut to, interior, hospital, room, day. The little girl runs right to her new baby brother in Nurse Molly's arms. Kevin is right behind her with flowers and balloons. The little family gathers around the new baby to ooh and ah. A balloon dips into frame. Match cut to, exterior, park, grassy area. The balloon is pulled along by the son, now 2 years old, running around the picnic set up by his mom, Nurse Molly, and his sister, the little girl, now 2 years older. Kevin, also on the blanket, grabs at the little boy as he runs by, but misses. He gets up to give chase and quickly snags him, lifting him high into the air. In a mirror to Kevin's intro scene at the top of the film, Kevin holds his little boy aloft with arms outstretched in celebration, the sun's rays highlighting them both. Cut to black. The Shift. Hi, my name is Brock Heasley, and I'm the writer and director of The Shift, the short film I made because I had never seen a character in fiction face off with the devil in the way that I would as a Christian, which is simply to pray. Quiet faith in the face of great darkness and temptation. And now I'm ready to turn that short into a full-length feature film. Just like most believers, I've faced that kind of darkness, and I've desperately needed that kind of prayer. I'm thinking about the violent death of my father, and the years of struggle towards understanding my wife and I had with our daughter with special needs. And we're not alone. So many good people struggle with chronic illness and children who go astray and more and worse. And in those long moments, knowing that God is real and knowing He exists, and we wonder when He's going to help, when He's going to show His face again. That's what the feature film will be about, a man who has already seen God's hand in his life, and that's when his true trial of faith begins. I don't know a single believer who doesn't know exactly what that struggle is like. And by telling that story, we have a chance to not only entertain, but to encourage and bring hope to so many.
I cannot wait to see how God is going to speak and move in the hearts of both those who believe and those who don't yet.
That's what makes The Shift so powerful.
The Shift short film is so powerful.
Very powerful message of positivity.
It is not an accident that this film is coming out now.
I truly believe that this is one of those feature films that will help usher in a whole new generation of faith-based cinema.
And that's why I feel The Shift has to be made.
It has to be made.
And we've got the right team to do it. Not only do we have people who have been involved in successful Hollywood productions like A Quiet Place, Argo, World War Z, Pulp Fiction, and the upcoming Jungle Cruise, but we've also got Dallas Jenkins.
Hey there, I'm Dallas Jenkins. I'm the creator of The Chosen, and I wanted to share with you a little bit of why I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift. I remember when I first saw the short film, The Shift, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't know who this person is who made this, but I'm really impressed, and I wanted to see more. I wanted to see how it could be expanded upon. I wanted to see what Brock could do with an actual budget. And I think the message of The Shift and the future of The Shift is so important.
And we've also got the composers for The Chosen, Matthew S. Nelson and 4-time Grammy winner Dan Hasseltine. The story is not exactly the kind of movie Hollywood is used to putting out. That's where you come in. Together, you and I, we can turn this short film into a feature film and reach so many more people. In a previous crowdfunding round, we raised over $150,000. That brought us to the attention of not only private investors, but also to successful independent film producers who have now come on board because they see a potential crossover movie that can do well not only in the faith-based space, but also with general audiences, both domestically and internationally. With a bigger budget goal, we can make a movie that matches the quality of the story we're telling and approach known actors who will give us an even better chance in the marketplace.
My name is Erin Heasley, and I played the role of Molly in the Shift short film. I can't wait to find out who replaces me. Is it Jennifer Garner? Can it be Jennifer Garner? Jennifer, call me.
We're partnering with Angel Studios, the same studio that brought you The Chosen, Dry Bar Comedy, and so many more, to invite you to join us in making this important film a reality. I'm ready to follow Kevin out the door. I want to see what happens to him after he's had this incredible journey of faith, and he knows it's not going to get any easier. It's actually going to get harder. This is the chance to tell the story of a modern-day Job, a person who already had faith and was then seemingly abandoned by God and severely tested. Kevin, like Job and like all of us, will have to make the choice every day to still believe despite all evidence and hardship to the contrary, to find the light that cuts through the darkness. That's the story we could tell together, and it's the story people need, especially right now.
I can't wait to see how impactful and powerful it's going to be up on the big screen.
I really believe in the message and the power that lies in this film.
And I just can't wait to see what happens.
Join us and invest in The Shift today at angelstudios.com/theshift. Thank you for listening. A script does not a movie make. If you want to see this made into a film with the potential to reach millions of people, partner with me, Orlando J. Gomez, Dallas Jenkins, and the rest of the team by investing today at angelstudios.com/theshift.